Hey everybody, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by. We're going to be doing, a live analysis of the Democratic National Convention tonight. It starts in a few minutes, as you can likely see. It's going to come up in just a little bit here. We're going to test this out. I don't know if we're going to face a copyright strike for this or not. We're going to have to see. Or if they're going to try to take us down. If they do, we're certainly going to probably stop it. I might come back at 11, after this has aired. But I do want to try streaming this and giving an analysis live of the speeches. For a couple things tonight that we'll be looking at is that there's going to be a ton of Republican ghouls. This is like ghoul night. Like there's some Bernie's up tonight, which is great. Michelle Obama's up tonight, which, I don't know anybody that hates Michelle Obama, anybody reasonable. People are at least okay with her. So we're going to see what happens with regard to all these Republicans. What are they going to say? I don't think, are we getting AOC tonight? I don't know if it's AOC tonight, but we are getting John Kasich tonight. We are getting some other Republicans tonight. The narrative of tonight is like country over party, that sort of thing. So I'm very interested to see. Yeah. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens here. If we get struck, it'll probably just be a warning because I've never been copyright struck before. I've had copyright claims, but I've never been struck. So we're going to see how that goes. And then we're going to kind of just evaluate from there, to be honest, and see what happens. Just one sec, guys. I'm going to flip on one of my other lights because it's a little dark in here. See, on the one hand, this should be good, right? It should be good because this is the official party stream. I'm not rebroadcasting the MSNBC feed. I'm not rebroadcasting the CNN feed or anything like that. So, my hope is that that's kind of taken into account. That's taken into account when people are looking at, what's happening and all of that. This should be, I think, free for everyone to kind of rebroadcast. But we'll see. YouTube We'll block a stream first and then ask questions later. So we're gonna see what happens here. David Dole, I can see, is also, I think, doing it, which means I think he's a little bit more experienced than I am. So I'm interested to see what happens with him. We'll see. Maybe he'll get copyright struck too, or maybe he has a way around it. For those who are maybe new, if you're new to this channel, we approach politics from the left, critical obviously of Donald Trump, but also critical of the Democratic Party establishment. So that's definitely going to be the kind of tone you're going to get here. So just bear that in mind. We're not necessarily pro-Biden or pro-Harris. We take a more definitively left-wing stance. The reason I didn't put this out in advance is, again, because I'm not sure about copyright and things like that. I didn't want to put out a scheduled stream, have people maybe, choose to do this instead of something else, and then not have the stream work. So I wanted to have this available to you guys. How's everyone doing? Sean, thank you so much for the support. David Dole is eating your lunch right now. Well, I don't know about that. David's a great guy. And David, technically he put his stream up first, to be fair. And then also, David has a significantly bigger channel than I do. So I would say we're actually quite similar right now in terms of the percentages of people watching relative to the size of the channels. So I might move over to Twitch. We'll see about that. I might post something. I haven't done Twitch in a really long time. And most of my viewers aren't on Twitch, but maybe I will. Maybe I will. We'll see about that. So we're going to see the moment of truth. We're going to see. It's all right. I'm expecting to use a puke bag for Kasich's speech. Yeah. I mean, we're going to see what he sounds like. I mean, if you guys watched my video last, or earlier this afternoon, you saw that John Kasich is already taking time to attack AOC. He's already attacking the left of the party. He's already basically saying, look, AOC doesn't represent the Democratic Party. She doesn't represent mainstream political values. The average American is a moderate, and I'm here to remind people of that. Basically to say, you have your Donald Trumps and your AOCs, and then you have your reasonable Americans. When, as we've noted multiple times on this channel, and I know David's noted it, and Kyle's noted it, and all the left tubers have noted it, the fact of the matter is, Medicare for All is popular with like 90% of Democrats and with like a majority of the public now. And it's only gotten more popular since the rise of this crisis, right? Like with people struggling to get health care now in a way that like a lot of people before weren't, right? Because I mean, before this, it really was the case that, a lot of Americans were struggling, but not necessarily, the majority or even like a huge minority. But now you're seeing tons of people really struggle to get the care they need. And I think with that reality, more and more people have come out and said, look, I don't know, like people are really concerned about getting healthcare and getting those sorts of things. So as you guys can see here, you can see the stream up. Let me know with that reality about volume. I might put up, I'm going to turn the volume up on the I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit. Let me know how that sounds. I might put up, because I want to be able to have that volume be heard by you guys. I'm going to turn the volume up on the
we've engaged a historic number of Americans in the democratic process. And now we have to overcome.
I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit. Let me know how that sounds. I might put up, because I want to be able to have that volume. I turn the volume up on
Second to none.
We
own the finish line. Don't forget it.
I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit. Let me know how that sounds. Because I want to be able to... Eric, thanks for the support. John Kasich is trash. Yes, he is indeed. He is indeed. I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit. Let me know how that sounds. Because I want to be able to... Eric, thanks for the support. John Kasich is trash. Yes, he is indeed. Yeah, I'm echoing a little bit right now because I'm trying to test the volume. Let me know what it's... Because I had the volume on my live stream feed here. Let me know how that sounds audio-wise. I'm curious to see what people think of that sound.
Good evening. I'm Eva Longoria Baston, and welcome to the 2020 Democratic National Convention, Uniting America. Every 4 years, we come together to reaffirm our democracy. This year, we've come to save it. It's going to take all of us. So tonight, we stand together, united by the values we cherish: decency, respect, justice, and the opportunity to rise up. We always hear that line about this being the most important election of our
So can you
lifetime.
guys hear me?
But this year,
Can you guys hear me and the audio here?
the past few months have tested us all. We've lost more than 170,000 family members and friends to COVID. This tragedy is compounded by the loss of jobs and income. But it's not just the past few months. The past 4 years have left us as a nation diminished and divided. And
Okay, turn it
yet,
up. Okay,
in the
good
middle
stuff.
of the fear and sorrow and the uncertainty, people have come together because they know we are better than this. America is better than this. And so we choose to act, inspired by the three sacred words that breathed life into our nation. We, the people.
Okay, turn it up. Okay, good stuff.
In the middle of the fear and sorrow and the uncertainty, people have come together because they know we are better than
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, let's go.
Come on now.
this.
Okay,
America is better than this. And so we choose to act,
I think I learned this
inspired by the
middle
three
school.
sacred
Fifth
words
grade.
that breathe
Can I
life
say this
into our
in
nation.
Spanish?
We, the people.
Okay,
So
turn
should
it
I
up.
read just
Okay,
this
good stuff.
line or the whole thing?
Fear and sorrow and the uncertainty, people have come.
Justice.
Tranquility, tranquilidad,
Liberty.
liberty. Let's do this.
We the people.
We, the people.
We, the people.
Nosotros. We, the people.
We, the people.
We the people of the United States.
Liberty. De los Estados Unidos.
In order to form
a more perfect union.
Establish justice.
Ensure domestic tranquility.
Provide for the common defense.
Promote the general welfare.
And secure the
Okay,
blessings
the echo should
To ourselves.
the echo should stop with the
Do ordain and establish this Constitution
I was just testing the
for
volume.
the United States of America.
We the people.
We, the people. We, the people.
We, the people.
We the people. We the people.
Yeah, why so many voices? Yeah, I'm not sure. There's a lot happening here.
We, the people of the United States.
We the people call the 48th
I mean, having Eva
Perennial
Longoria was an
Democratic
interesting
National
decision
Convention
with
to
the
order.
effort to I guess play on the Desperate Housewives theme. Maybe the goal for them was to focus in on the Trump comments on housewives. A lot of you could see here they're leaning hard into like traditional patriotism, right? This is very much like America, rah, 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 as you can kind of tell here, right? You can plainly see that they are going into this idea that, you know, we love America, we're going to restore America, we're going to make America great again, for lack of a better term. That seems to be what they're kind of getting at. Like, we want to make America great again, and that's what they're trying to do. That's what they're trying to do. Yeah, Ken, you're right. This is very much propaganda. Very much. And I mean, like, look, propaganda is propaganda, right? But they're leaning into nationalism. I made a video about this where a Joe Biden ad, all it was children like giving the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by like pictures of Biden with like firefighters and things like that, and that was the image. And so what you could see here is they have a whole bunch of people from all the states. It's cringy. It's super cringy. Maybe they're going to organize all of these people into like a flag. I'm guessing what they're going to do. Well, here's the thing. Like, I don't know, guys. Like, let me know what you think. Do you think, like I know this is disingenuous, but like, you know, like, if Bernie did, like, Bernie would have to probably do some of this stuff, right? You know? It is a little creepy. I'm surprised they didn't organize them into the flag. Right? Like, they took the kid, like the... wait, are they going to? Are they going to organize them into the flag? Let's see. Well, they organized them into stars. I was a third right. I was a third right.
Hello, my name is Reverend Gabriel Salguero. Let us pray.
Almighty
And they're
God,
opening with a prayer
we
as well.
confess that
Now,
our nation needs you
historically at
and
least,
has always
conventions of all kinds would
We
open
pray
with
for your
prayers.
blessing
Union
upon all of
conventions,
us,
political
Republicans,
conventions.
Independents, and Democrats. As
People
we
are saying it's
strive
hard to hear
form a
me
more
now.
Perfect union. We pray for your strength, guidance, and wisdom. Almighty
And they're
God,
opening
Lord,
with a prayer
we
as well.
recognize that we are living
Okay.
through challenging times that call us to live
Let
up
me,
to the highest angels of our national character. As we confront the turbulent winds of a global pandemic, economic uncertainty,
Turn it
and
down just a
civil
little. I'd rather you
discord, may
hear
your
them
gracious
than
hand
me, to be
lead us
fair,
to
right?
the
Just
peaceful shores of love, justice, and civility. Help us, O Lord, to be ever mindful of the most vulnerable among us, from our golden generation to our youngest children, desde nuestros inmigrantes to our veterans, from our healthcare workers to our school teachers. Give us a heart of compassion and grace. This nation, from Miami to Minneapolis and from Portland to El Paso, ask you to shepherd us to a hope-filled vision that does justice.
Yeah, I mean,
and walks humbly before you.
Look,
I pray this.
the United States is a fairly religious country
Amen.
for like a developed nation, right?
Welcome
Like,
to our convention
regardless of
across
what your
America. We had
particular
hoped to
religion
gather
is,
in one
it's a
place,
more
but
religious
instead we figured
country
out a
than,
safe and
like, say, like most of the
responsible way
Western
to come
European
together
countries.
to
So
share our
it makes
ideas and talk about the
sense
future of
that you
our
have
country.
people giving
And that's
prayers,
the
that
kind
you
of
have
leadership we
people
need right now.
giving
That's
these
the
sorts of
kind
things.
of
It only
leadership
makes
that Joe
sense,
Biden and Kamala
in my
Harris
view.
will bring to the White House. So during the
It only
next
makes
4
sense.
nights, we will gather safely from our homes.
So again, Eva
to
Longoria
listen,
hosting is very
learn,
interesting.
to
Again,
be
what do you guys
inspired,
think?
to act,
Do you think
to
it's
vote,
just
and
because
to
she's a big
build
name and they
that
wanted
more
a celebrity?
perfect union?
Or do you think it's
I
like a
am
dig
honored
at
to
Trump
be
with the
with you
housewife
this evening.
comments?
I'm here tonight
I don't
as a
want to know what you guys think.
Texan,
It is kind of
as a
random
daughter
otherwise,
of a
isn't it?
veteran and a
Like, is
teacher,
she a prominent
as a mother,
supporter of the
as a voter,
Democratic Party?
and as a patriot. I share Joe Biden's belief that the story of America is one of ordinary people coming together to do extraordinary
My name is Hello
things. And
Hello
at
says
our
the
best,
U.S.
our
is a developed,
country
undeveloped
rewards
country.
hard work.
Well, it
We
certainly
celebrate
is more
diversity. We look
unequal
out
than
for
the
each
other
other, and we
developed
lift
nations, at least
one
most of
another
them.
up.
So
tonight,
there are parts of the
we're
United
going to
States
begin
that
with
are,
the simple
you know, like
kindness we've
Silicon
been
Valley
extending
and
to each
stuff
other
that
a
are
lot lately.
super developed, like New York
We're going
City,
to
but
check in with
like
folks
there are
around
other
the
parts of
country
the
and
country
ask,
that
"How
really
are you
do have
doing?"
like almost a
As many of
developed,
you know,
a
small
developing world
businesses
standard of
employ
living.
half of all U.S.
And
workers.
that's especially if the
Tonight we have
case when you
Scott.
talk about
Scott, you are a
indigenous
small
people.
business
Much like
owner
in
from
Canada,
Swarthmore,
our indigenous people in
Pennsylvania.
many cases lack
Small
clean
businesses
drinking
have been
water.
hit
So we're
so
not
hard in
immune
this
from
crisis.
it.
So many small
But
businesses. How are you doing? How are you managing?
Christian nationalism, yes, to a degree, Garth, but don't forget, church and state is different from religion and state.
Nice word to say
When the
it.
United States
My wife
founded
and
the
I,
Constitution, they
31
meant
years
that
ago,
to say,
began
they
our
meant to
business,
say,
and quite honestly,
no
over
official church.
all
Like there's the
these
Church of
years,
England.
we
In
faced some
Greece,
adversity
the
and
Greek
challenges,
Orthodox Church
but,
is the
to be
official
honest,
state church.
nothing like we are
And so what
today.
they meant was
We've
no
literally had
official
to
church.
reinvent
They did not
our
necessarily
business,
mean
several
that
times
people
since the
could
beginning
not
of the year,
use faith as a
just to
basis
stay
for their
afloat.
ideology.
And,
That
you
you
know,
can't
we,
enforce that constitutionally.
our revenue,
And so as long
for
as the majority of
example,
Americans
is
are
off
religious,
about
whether it's Christian,
40%.
Muslim, Jewish, Hindu, whatever,
we
religion and
have
politics
half
will
of
not
the
be separated.
employees
And
that we
you could
had,
hope it would be,
pre-COVID.
but it isn't. Right? It isn't.
You know, our customers are a little scared. Our employees
People
are
stuck.
sometimes
I'm gonna fix
afraid to
that.
come
Yep.
to work because of the COVID.
I might have to. It's doing this weird
to be
where I have
honest
to
with you,
like
I'm just
rejig
frustrated.
the window a little bit.
I don't understand how we got here.
I don't know
We
why it's
are
doing that, but
the
I'll just I'll
greatest
keep an eye on it.
nation in the world, and it just
Because my
seems to
stream is
me
good.
that,
Yeah, I got it,
maybe
guys.
If we just came together on this
When that
one
happens, are you
issue
guys still getting the
alone,
audio?
maybe
At least.
as Americans and being united, we can overcome.
Yeah. Thank you, Scott, for sharing your story. I'm sure many small business owners feel the same way that you're.
I mean,
you're
like you
feeling
can see what
now.
they're doing here,
We wish
and
you
see
the best
this
for your
this
business
guy
and,
should
of
be
course,
getting
for your
more
family.
time than John
Now
Kasich.
I'd like to turn to Marley Dean,
Like this guy
who
got
is
like
15
30
years
seconds.
old from
He's
West
you
Orange,
should be
New
giving
Jersey.
if you're
She is a
not
literary
going to give
activist,
time to like
an author, and she is the
the
founder of
real
1,000
deal
Black Girl Books.
politicians
Marley,
of the
so
left
many
of the
young
progressive
people are
movement.
struggling with the changes
That
due to
guy right
COVID.
there,
How are
small
you doing?
business owner.
I'm doing all right. You know, I feel better every day. I feel more
Right.
hopeful. I thought this was going to be a few weeks at first where I wouldn't see my friends.
Audio
I would
balance
stick
is good.
it
Thanks,
out.
my name. Hello,
But
hello.
obviously, as it's grown
I
longer,
appreciate that.
really
Thank you so
wanna focus
much.
on activism and still spreading important messages, given the fact that I can't go out. So I started doing virtual read-alouds online, which has been so fun, getting to interact and meet new kids and encourage and promote the joy that we can find in reading and in learning.
Yeah, I mean, it's good they're talking to small business owners. Look, that's a good thing. I think they should be talking to more of them, frankly.
That they care about. Because sometimes you don't have that.
Yeah, Samantha, that too. And I think like what they should do, and I know it's like you got to plan these things in advance somewhat, but they should be talking to people who are affected by the postal service being hurt. Small business people, people who need their medications, older folks that depend on the mail more, and on and on and on, in addition to people with voting.
Creating change. So
like, get rid of all the Republicans. Get rid of all the Republicans, replace them with regular Americans, including Republicans. But I don't want to hear John Kasich, who spent most of his career doing everything like to hurt regular people. Bring me an average working or middle-class Republican voter. Give them the screen.
Getting back to the business side of it, the
you have
trade
Karen
war
here? Geez, now I'm all
it was
self-conscious.
real stressful and truly a devastating.
Oh, yeah. Jeez. Thanks for letting me know.
Most probably what people can relate to mostly in agriculture is soybean tariffs. And then whenever you compound the effects of the COVID-19 virus, nobody could have prevented that. It's a shame our leadership misinformed the people like myself in the country on what was coming down the road. My biggest concern is that if these trends continue with this type of leadership, I will be the last generation farming this farm.
Yeah, it's a scary thought.
Yeah, I got it.
I'm sure a lot of farmers
I don't
feel the same way.
I don't have the answers, but past experiences, if something doesn't work for you, it's time for a change. And that's why I'm supporting Joe Biden all the way.
Well, thank you so much.
I don't know why it's doing that.
I couldn't agree with you more. We need meaningful change and leadership that will support family farms like yours.
I'm just going to try to fix it and then not touch anything.
Story.
Okay, it should be good now.
Finally, let's hear from Michelle.
It should be good now. I think what's happening is when I'm switching screens to look at something, it's throwing it off a little bit. I'm going to try to not touch buttons.
How are you preparing for the new school year?
See, this is good. This is good. Well, look, Citrus Knight, I don't know if you're a Republican here. I'm not sure. I think this is actually good. This is actually decent. They're talking to teachers, small business owners, all sorts of folks, young people. This is good. This is actually a decent start. They're going to ruin it, but this is a good start. Let me know what you guys think. I think this is good.
We were doing okay, but now they're wanting us to take them back.
Yeah, it's like a regular Italian American. He's like, yeah, I like it. I like it, guys. This is a decent start. And you know me, how cynical I am about the DNC. You guys know me.
All my staff at my school. I will do whatever it takes to ensure
if you're new here, click the subscribe button. Glad to have you here. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for all those who've given some super chats. Again, Sean gave a really great pair, and Eric, just to reset again, greetings from Missouri. Eric says John Kasich is trash. Eric is 100% right. He does not belong here.
Thank you,
by all
Michelle.
means,
I think,
endorse Joe Biden.
There's nothing more difficult for us as
you
moms
can't, and Joe Biden, accept.
And so I think
you got an endorsement, but don't give him your
very
stage.
Difficult time, and thank you for the work you do as a nurse. It's truly heroic. I really enjoyed talking to all of you. I think I have one last question. Do you?
Yeah, I love I like that shirt. I do like that.
Do you believe that better days are ahead?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, thank you for taking the time to speak with us and sharing your thoughts. You are the we in We the People, and you are who this convention is about.
In 1776, the Declaration of Independence, we hold these truths to be self-evident. These words are the basis for the American creed: equality, equity, fairness, decency. America didn't live up to that promise for most of the people at the time, the people of color, for women, but we were born of an idea.
Yeah, I did the freeze again. It's going to be fixed. I fixed it. This is actually good here. Joe Biden actually admitting that America, that declaration did not belong to most people. That's actually good.
We had hoped to have
That's actually progress,
in
guys,
the city
because
of festivals, Milwaukee, Wisconsin this year.
10 years ago
not
even,
able to do
you
that,
wouldn't
but
have
we'll
the
be hearing from
Democratic
several of
nominee.
Wisconsin's leaders throughout this convention, starting with Congresswoman
You
Gwen.
wouldn't have the Democratic nominee admit that, like, America was flawed from the very beginning.
Hi, I'm Gwen Moore, and it's my honor to represent Milwaukee in Congress and to
This
kick
is indistinguishable
off the
to
2020
W re-elected in
Democratic
2004.
Convention. Oh,
I mean,
sure wish you
to a
all were
degree,
here in the
Samantha,
city of
I think, like,
Milwaukee,
certainly they're
which
leaning
takes its
hard
name
into
from
the
languages
patriotism.
of the first peoples,
You know,
interpreted
they're this
as
is
good land
make
and
America great again type
gathering place
language.
by the water.
Like, we have to restore America.
This is a city where blood was shed for labor rights, where a fugitive slave was freed from prison, where women's right to vote was first ratified.
She's making a good point here, the
we
Congresswoman,
gather
that
virtually.
Milwaukee
However,
is
we
like
gather
a working
unified
class
in
city, and
spirit,
it always has
unified
been.
in our
It's like the
values and
founding of the
purpose
labor
to
movement in
heal
some way. Not the
divisions
founding,
and
but
together move
like
the nation confidently into a prosperous,
Wisconsin, like
inclusive
Minnesota,
future.
these were some of the historically some of the most progressive states in the U.S. where like labor and working class people organized to win huge fights for all Americans.
With my VIP,
so it's a bit of a shame they didn't get to have the full convention.
Kamala Harris by his
Oh
side.
yeah, Lulu, it's definitely
Tonight,
pandering.
we are
But if you
gathered
don't think
to
the Republican
reclaim the
convention is
soul
going to
of
be
America.
pandemonium,
to come
I
together,
think that's pretty
America,
clever.
Text
You know?
join to 303.
It is kind of cringy.
Thank
it is.
You. I love you all.
But
and
she's
God
right.
bless you.
She's right to kind of nod to the history. She's right to nod to the history. John Barlich says, John, thanks for stopping by. Great to have you. Yang wasn't strong enough on a lot of those other things to allay my concerns. That's all I'm saying. But, like, it's not. This is not about whether Yang was good or not. My point is, undeniably, he should be speaking at this convention. Undeniably. Undeniably, he should be speaking.
There's not a single thing we cannot do if we do it together.
Yeah, they're like leaning hard into like the schmaltzy Americanism, aren't they, guys? They really are. This is very produced. You know, I like them talking to the regular Americans, but not a huge fan of like the presentation style. Ronald 6, Wilson 6, Reagan 6. Milwaukee used to elect socialist mayors. They were known as sewer socialists due to their emphasis on good government and quality of municipal services. Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for that, Ronald Wilson Reagan. No relation, I assume, to the President Reagan, but he's a regular, so that's a bit of an inside joke. But no, I mean, I think you're right. That's a great point. And wasn't Kucinich? Where was Kucinich? No, he wasn't from there. But they called Kucinich a sewer socialist when he was a mayor. But he was mayor somewhere else, wasn't he? Hillary is speaking later on in the week, if I'm not mistaken.
To vote for someone who essentially has
Joshua with the great point saying, where is AOC? Why this video? AOC speaking time died for this. Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I can't disagree with that. AOC speaking time died for this, guys.
And go vote for a proven leader with a history of caring about others and truly putting all Americans first.
Yeah. So I mean, from my perspective, it's kind of silly, like, you know, the argument that they couldn't give AOC more time, that they couldn't just plug her in for another, you know, crises we face. 20 the pandemic, minutes. I don't know if they give her 20. That's a lot of minutes, to be fair. Racial injustice. But we're not just going to focus on what's wrong. We're going to. They could have given her at least 5, right, guys? They could have given her 5 minutes. When peaceful protesters were tear gassed. Well, let's remember this. I don't know if you guys saw my video from a couple days ago. Go check it out if you're new to the channel after the stream. We'll probably go tell, you know, a little bit after it ends. We'll probably break it down. But
hello, I'm Muriel Bowser, Mayor of Washington, D.C. The story of our nation's
that's a freeze on there and 1 sec. Yeah, that was a freeze on there, and I'm going to take a look here.
Spoke on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. It was here that millions of women and men flooded the streets for the Women's March. It was here that just weeks ago, Americans and safely and peacefully protested the death of
there's no reason they couldn't have plugged her in.
Peacefully protesting, Donald Trump was plotting. He stood in front of one of our most treasured
really bothers me.
Of worship and held a
really bothers me that they didn't put her on the schedule full time.
He sent troops in camouflage into our streets.
Yeah, Stephen Harris, that's kind of fair, actually. It does certainly feel a little bit like how a corporation would present progressivism. That's not an unfair point.
I said enough for every black and
I think that's probably a decently fair point.
Injustice. Enough for every American who believes.
For people who are here, sometimes people remind me, if you want, you can click the like button. People apparently YouTube likes when you click the like button. So if you like the stream so far, click that like button. Let people know that this is a good stream. We're watching it. You're getting to watch this very schmaltzy DNC coverage, and you have some smart ass Canadian chirping along to it.
To say enough.
Well, yeah, of course, they don't want AOC speaking. That's the thing, guys. They gave her 60 seconds so she would be on the schedule.
Because we can't just paint those
words. But they didn't want to give her enough time to actually speak.
We have to live those words. We have to undo the laws and systems that have codified racism for far too long. But we have to do something too.
Look, I know, like, a lot of people who watch this aren't Obama fans, because, like, a lot of my people are to the left of Obama, but, like, Obama was undeniably charismatic and a great speaker. And people remember that it was actually at the 2004 DNC convention that he gave the big speech. And, like, that sort of set him up to run for president.
The others were members of George
and he took that momentum and beat Hillary. Right?
My brother George was selfless. He always made sacrifices for his family, friends, and even complete strangers. George had a giving spirit.
I don't want to speak
that has shown up on streets around our nation and around the world. People of all races, all ages, all genders, all backgrounds, peacefully protesting in the name of love and unity. It's a fitting legacy for our brother, but George should be alive today. Breonna Taylor should be alive today. Ahmaud Arbery should be alive today. Eric Garner should be alive today. Stephon Clark, or Tatiana Jefferson, Sandra Bland, they should all be alive today. So it's up to us to carry on the fight for justice. Our actions will be their legacies. We must always find ourselves in what John Lewis called good trouble. For the names we do not know, the faces we'll never see, those who can't mourn because their murders didn't go viral. Please join me in a moment of silence to honor George and the many other souls we lost to hate and injustice. And when this moment ends, let's make sure we never stop saying their names.
I mean, that was really good from Floyd's brother. That was really good. Now, to be clear, Joe Biden does not support defunding the police. Joe Biden wants to give the police more money, right? So I don't know if Joe Biden is actually going to do anything to fix the issues that led to the loss of life of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd and so many others. Honestly. So, yeah, honestly, I don't know. Yeah, I think one of the things Tom, and I'll get to Carlos' super chat in a second, but I want to get to Tom's comment. Tom makes a good point here when he says, you know, the fact that they gave AOC 60 seconds was an attempt to silence her, but I wonder if, because she's only getting 60 seconds, and everyone knows she's only getting 60 seconds, maybe there's like, for lack of a better term, there's like, I don't know, there's going to be a lot of attention to that 60 minutes, right? Well, yeah, and Black Lives Matter has criticized Joe Biden, certainly. And I mean, well, in Cory Bush, who recently got elected, the progressive who won the shock primary in St. Louis, Missouri, she's a Black Lives Matter activist. Like, she's involved directly, and she's been very critical of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. She said that, you know, when Kamala Harris had the power to change things, like, my people were dying in prison unjustly. So, yeah. Carlos makes a great point. Say Carlos is like neoliberal scumbags on parade. Carlos, I mean, that's certainly going to be most of this convention. As people have noted, it's actually really bad. Like, Kamala Harris, or on this entire convention schedule, there are going to be 2 speakers under the age of 50. 50. There should be more than 2 under 30, let alone under 50. Can you guys believe that? 2 speakers under 50. Only 3 people who are Latina. Only 3 people of a massive group of Americans. Like, look, Julian Castro's not like he's not a left-winger, but like, why is Julian Castro not on the schedule? Yeah, 2 people under 50, only 3 Latinos. Also, how many Asian Americans? That's why, like, they left Yang off too. Like, even ideology aside, they really messed this one up. Yeah, and I will remind people, Leslie Brown says we're all screwed. You know, Leslie, like, maybe you're wrong, but I don't know if you are. But like, no, but let's be real. So far, we've done 31 minutes. We've done 31 minutes. I think this goes till 11 or so. We haven't heard any major speeches. And the only really substantive thing, there was that those nice words by George Floyd's brother, which was great. And also hearing from those 4 regular Americans. Everything else has kind of been a waste of time.
Lasting change in people's lives. We need to address the economic
Is Tammy Duckworth not speaking at all at the convention? I'm pretty sure she's on the schedule, Dafrax. I'm pretty sure she's speaking somewhere.
Led to people of color dying from COVID at higher rates.
This is a Trump ad.
And we need to make it easier for Americans to vote. We have a lot to do. And to do this, we need community action. We need Congress that can have power to do it. And we need a president who understands that this is the moment.
The moment has come for our nation to deal with systemic racism, to deal with the growing economic inequity that exists in our nation, to deal with the denial of the promise of this nation, made to so many. You know, I've said from the outset of this election that we're in the battle for the soul of this nation.
We haven't heard a lot of Joe Biden, actually. They've had a couple clips of him. This is the first sustained clip of Joe Biden on this convention. And we are half an hour in.
It's all at stake.
Yeah, Golden Knight, you're right. This is very much being said as an anti-Trump convention, and I get it. A lot of people don't like Trump. I don't like him either. Jesus. But, like, Biden needs to get people to vote for him. Did you guys see that CNN poll?
Thanks for doing this.
There's that CNN poll where Joe Biden was polling
activism when I was 15.
at only 38% of his supporters wanting him for him.
And it made me
Barack Obama in 2012, 80% of his voters were voting for him.
Responsibility to ensure that that didn't happen to other young people. And I think that's what's missing in America right now is our collective responsibility to each other and to realize that the person down the street or around the corner or even across the country.
I'm just going to grab some water, guys. I'll be right back. They should be running
that we're making sure that they're safe, they have access to education, and that in all, we're creating a world in which their differences are celebrated as well as protected under the law.
Mayor, how are you prioritizing the many things you have to do as we try to tackle in a way that we haven't before systemic racism in the city?
It really is about economic empowerment, because if people are lifted out of poverty and they are given
this is rich. Lori Lightfoot is like a super right-wing Democratic mayor. Does not support working people. Does not support teachers. God, what a disingenuous inclusion here.
What they can do.
Yeah, exactly, Samantha. Yeah.
Systemic racism.
Welcome to Stormtroopers. Yeah. God damn, Lori Lightfoot's like the worst person, the worst Democratic mayor you could probably pull on this thing.
President's talking about defunding
unacceptable
the post office and mail-in voting. I mean, what do you think we should be doing, Mr. President?
Well, first of all, we have to change the public discourse around voting. It should be seen as a democratic thing to do, the most patriotic thing we can do, and not a...
Dafrax, how will Biden handle the debate with Trump?
Secondly,
I mean,
how do we
that's a good question. I'm not sure how that's going to go.
So we could address
There's going to be probably 3 of them.
Not only should we reauthorize...
I think Biden will stick to his message.
We have to go further.
I think he's going to stick to his message. I'm going to restore the country. I was help the country get back from the last Great Recession, and not try to go in with Trump's attacks.
They can have unfettered access without
Trump's gonna go after him on senility and stuff. Biden might jab back with comments about Trump being less than fit. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. Those are going to be tough for him because Biden has been carefully managed. Trump also has dementia. He does. But Trump is more experienced at just throwing stuff at a wall.
The police officers were shocked.
Golden Knight says September 29th is the first debate. Mark that on the calendars. I usually can't cover debates live. Those are usually aired by a network, and it's hard to get those covered live on YouTube. But I likely would run them as I likely would run a post-debate like live stream.
George Floyd's and others to actually make policing take it to the next level, which is what everyone wants, including all the good cops that are out there, that thankfully are more of them than there are bad cops.
Most cops are good, but the fact is the bad ones have to be identified.
Most cops,
and
I don't know.
prosecuted.
I don't know about that one, Joe.
Period.
I don't know about that one, Joe.
Oh, well, I'm doing pretty well as can be expected.
You know, I'm sure that the words of George Floyd, "I can't breathe," were not new to you, and they echo in your mind every single day. 6 years ago when your son died. But we can't let this keep happening. What do you think the next thing we have to do?
Just remember,
First of all, I know when
Joe
my
Biden,
son
when he was
murdered,
vice president,
there was
they
a big
crushed
uprising.
Black Lives Matter protests.
But then it settled down. We can't let things settle
Most
down.
look are.
We have to go to the politicians.
When I say all
we
cops
have to
are
hold their
bad,
feet
what
to
I
the
mean is the
fire,
institution
because
of policing is
otherwise the big uprising
fundamentally
is not gonna
unjust,
mean a lot.
and so that
So I'm
anyone
just
who's
asking
wearing a
that,
badge, at least
you
while they're
become the
wearing
president,
that badge,
that
is
you
bad.
make
So yes,
sure
all
that we
cops
get
are bad.
national law as well as
The most
state
heroic
and
thing a
local
cop can
law,
do, as
especially
Damien
when it
notes,
comes
great
to
timing,
police
Damien. We're
brutality,
thinking alike here.
because that has been
Is to quit.
age-old problem.
Well, I may be kidding myself, but I think the people are ready. I think people are ready. We just got to keep pushing. We can't let up. But thank you for what you're doing. I really appreciate it. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Racism structurally, individually, and systematically is real.
Black, brown, no matter what you look like, you should not ever be fearful of your life due to the color of your skin.
What I want to see in the next president of the United States is someone who's fair, who believes in equal justice under the law. I want him to lead us through this revolution that we're experiencing right now.
Joe Biden is a healer and he's a unifier. He will fight for the Black Lives Matter movement.
Undo, remove, tear down the remnants of structural and systematic racism in this country.
Yeah, Joe Biden's not going to do that, though.
That exist, things that our
Like,
nation
look,
has overlooked that need to be addressed.
Joe Biden's not going to do this,
stand
though.
on our platform and introduce legislation that makes this platform felt from coast to coast.
Joe Biden's not going to do that, though.
To restore the values that we hold so near and dear to our hearts.
Joe Biden's not going to do that, though.
I want to make sure that there is a world that's left better for him.
Joe Biden's not going to do that, though. Joe Biden's not going to do those things. Joe Biden saw a party.
I'm Congressman Jim Clyburn here in historic.
Oh, Jim effing Clyburn.
Good evening. I'm Congressman Jim Clyburn here in historic Charleston, South Carolina.
Jim Clyburn.
6 months ago, I stood not far from here and endorsed Joe Biden to be our 46th president. It was a decision I made with my feet firmly planted in this community. This community, where 80% of African Americans in this country can claim an ancestor who arrived on these shores in bondage, a few blocks from here over at Gaston's Wharf. This community that is still healing from the wounds we received when the white supremacists entered Emmanuel AME
Jim,
Church
like he's not
and
wrong
murdered 9
about the
black
history of
parishioners
slavery. My God,
as they
but
studied
Jesus,
the Bible
Jim.
together. The
He's
ground
like, look,
beneath our
we want to
feet
talk
is
about
seeded
racial
with
inequality.
pain
That's why
that
I
is both
endorsed
old
the
and
guy
new.
that was
But
best
from that
pals
soil,
with
we
strong
always find a way to
effing
grow
Thurman.
together.
Jesus
Earlier this summer, the
You
city of
guys
Charleston
saw my.
removed
Sorry,
a
if you hear my
statue
cat, you might hear
honoring
Smokey.
John C.
Regular
Calhoun,
viewers will know
an
Smokey,
honored
but
advocate of slavery.
absolutely absurd.
And construction is underway on the International African American Museum. at
Remember,
Gadsden's
this
Wharf.
is the guy that said there needed
Much
to be
like the
less
country as a
policy
whole,
talk
we are
in the
stepping
in the
out from
election,
the shadows
and
of
he
our
also
past
said that
and
all
beginning
Bernie
to lay the
Sanders wanted to
groundwork
do was give
for a
people
more
free
just
stuff.
future.
But this guy
It won't be easy.
knows.
We
He
can only
knows.
succeed if we move
Jim
forward
Clyburn knows
together.
in his
So we will
goddamn
need
heart
a president who sees
that
unifying
Bernie's
people
plan
as
is
a
better for
requirement
working
of the
class
job.
and poor
A
people.
president
And
who
because of
understands the true
racism, which
meaning
is very
of
real,
community and how to build
I'm not a class only guy. I recognize the realities of sexism and racism. But because racism is real, the majority of poor and working class people, not the majority, but disproportionately, they are black, they are Hispanic, they are indigenous.
We need a president who understands.
And this man looked at a Medicare plan that would leave 10 million uninsured. And you guys know, you guys can tell that those 10 million people Biden would leave uninsured minimum. Do you think they're not going to be disproportionately black and Hispanic and indigenous?
Working people and persistent poverty.
This guy lied to his own community. He lied to them in a state that it doesn't goddamn matter.
Always be an adopted son of South Carolina. Joe Biden is as good a man as he is a leader.
No, that's not true. Ask Tara fucking. God damn it!
Tonight,
God damn it!
We know Joe, but more importantly,
God, I am getting hot.
I am Kevin.
God. Then they just cut. Did they just cut out on him a little bit there? That was awkward.
TAPS military mentor, and that's how I spend the majority of my time post Marine Corps.
Clyburn just lying.
Building memories like the ones we build together is the single best thing I do with my time. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your lives and sharing the journeys for the past decade.
We've got about 500 kids and family members and mentors.
Jim Clyburn lying. We saw at the John Lewis funeral. We saw this where Bill Clinton thanked him for destroying the dreams of young Americans. And let's remember this.
He surprised us all.
Young black people wanted Bernie too.
Marine Corps, my time as an intel officer, my time as a drill instructor.
Daffrack, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ben Riley says, "Bro, please kill me." Sad emoji. Another kind of facepalm emoji, and then a few more sad emojis.
Humanity, especially today, there's a
Windy Melly, Christo, be thankful you don't live in the U.S. Yeah, sometimes I am, although Canada's not always what it's cracked up to be.
Real character.
You know, we have a lot of issues up here too. Don't get me
policies
wrong.
Are great, and we need sound policies as well. Which he also has those because he's got the chops,
jeez,
right?
man.
But it's almost like none of that matters if you don't have the character. This is a very unprecedented and challenging time.
What
that requires
character does Joe Biden have?
Courageous leader. We need someone with the courage to do what's necessary and what's right.
What
to strive towards
character?
a perfect union. That's Joe Biden. I know Joe because he cares about
he's better than goddamn Trump.
Himself.
But like Joe Biden eulogized,
what else
segregationists.
Joe knows
he called
about pandemics.
Racial.
In 2014, he helped stop
he called
the spread of Ebola
mixed race busing a racial jungle.
Contained. And after that success, knowing
he did awful things to Tara Reid and other women, as many as 7 or 8 other women.
Pandemic playbook to make sure
he's lied about his legal grades in law school. He plagiarized a speech in 1988.
Response team that was given to them.
He authored the 1994 crime bill. Joe Biden is not a man of character. He's just the guy, the weekend at Bernie's guy in a suit that people are hoping will beat Donald Trump.
And that is Joe Biden. We're grateful that across the country there are responsible leaders who are stepping up. One of them provided clear direction and memorable PowerPoints, New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Hello. Today's Monday, day 100.
Oh, Brianna Joy Gray just tweeted out like
for the COVID virus and have gone from one of the highest infection rates on the globe to one of the lowest. We climbed the impossible mountain, and right now we are on the other side. We did it with the kindness and assistance of so many. New Yorkers want to thank everyone who came to our aid. 30,000 Americans who volunteered to come here to help in our hour of need. Your love gave us the strength to carry on. We went through hell, but we've learned much. We know that our problems go beyond the COVID virus. COVID is the symptom, not the illness.
New York was unlucky. They got hit first. Like parts of Canada got hit earlier than others and made it harder.
A virus attacks
this is a man
when the body is weak. And when it cannot defend
is
itself.
Trying to cut
over these past few years, America's body politic has been weakened.
During this crisis.
The divisions have been growing deeper. The anti-Semitism, the anti-Latino, the anti-immigrant fervor, the racism in Charlottesville, where the
this guy
didn't even bother to
is
wear their
laying
hoods.
the roots
And in Minnesota,
for one of the reasons
life
why
was
so many
squeezed from
thousands of
Mr.
New
Floyd.
Yorkers lost their lives to
Only
COVID.
a strong body can
I
fight
get
off
it.
the virus.
Like it's not
America's
just his
divisions
fault. It
weakened
isn't.
it.
And I get it. Like Donald Trump has made it worse.
Didn't create the initial division.
Here's what Brianna Joy Gray tweeted. Let me see if I can find it
He
here.
only made it worse. Our collective strength is exercised through government. It is in effect.
It was just a one emoji, but it captured it perfectly.
Our government is dysfunctional and incompetent. It couldn't fight off the virus.
Katie Halper, a great tweet here. Eva Longoria says, Americans have died. We deserve a president who believes in science. Of course, most experts recommend Medicare for all. Not listening to them.
The virus had been attacking us for months before they even knew it was here. We saw the failure of a government that tried to deny the virus, then tried to ignore it, and then tried to politicize it. The failed federal government that watched New York get ambushed by their negligence and then watched New York suffer, but all through it learned absolutely nothing. So today, 6 months after it began, the nation is still unprepared. And we now face a second threat, but this time not from Mother Nature. This is a man-made threat by our own negligence. We now see the virus ricocheting across the country, from one state to another. Today, we trail the world in defeating COVID. We have over 5 million cases. Americans learn the critical lesson.
I can't believe I clicked off Pornhub for this.
We are when we
Ben, I appreciate your sacrifice.
And how many lives can be lost when our government is incompetent?
Oh, screen's
but
frozen.
We learned something else, my friends. We saw the negative, but we also saw the positive. As they proved their way failed,
be real.
We proved that our way succeeded.
Trump has made this
America
worse.
Can still rise to the occasion. We can put our differences aside and find commonality. Government can tell the truth.
Trump has made this worse. There's no denying it.
We can judge by content of character.
But
rather
mark
than
my
color
words,
of skin.
you guys would still be the worst in the developed world if Clinton was president. Because you have bonkers Republican governors.
Of course we will wear
you have crazy Republican governors. You have neoliberal ghoul Democratic governors. And then you also have a lack of Medicare for all, which means that whatever you tell people about COVID being covered for testing and treatment or whatever, people don't believe it, and we know it's not true.
We win wars.
Joe Biden is lying to you. He is lying to you when he says, countries with single payer also had a hard time with COVID. So it's not that. That's not the reason. Look at the goddamn curves in Italy,
Americans will rise to their cause.
In Spain.
We saw that even at the end of the day, even if it is a long day,
in Canada,
that love wins.
That did get hit hard. We had a big spike too, guys. We did.
We have seen in this crisis
a lot, we had a lot of failures too, but it got under control quick. And one of the reasons is no one had to for 1 second worry about getting treatment or testing covered by their insurance or whatever. No one had to worry.
The best within us, not the worst. A leader who can unify, not divide. A leader who can bring us up, not tear us down. I know that man. I've worked with that man. I've seen his talent. I've seen his strength. I've seen his pain, and I've seen his heart. That man is Joe Biden. Joe Biden is what I call America tough. Tough in the best way.
What does that mean?
Tough that is smart.
What does America
united,
tough mean?
Disciplined and loving. Joe Biden can restore the soul of America. And that's exactly what our country needs today. Thank you.
What the hell is that?
We'll hear from Kristen Urquiza.
Hi, I'm Kristen Urquiza. I'm one of the many who has lost a loved one to COVID. My dad, Mark Anthony Urquiza, should be here today, but he isn't. He had faith.
What the heck is America tough?
He voted for him.
Is this
listened to him, believed him.
Is this a truck commercial?
When they said that coronavirus was under control and going to disappear, that it was okay to end social distancing rules before it was safe, and that if you had
Like,
no underlying health conditions,
what is that?
you'd probably be fine. So in late May, after
Guys,
the
like,
stay-at-home order was lifted in Arizona,
I
my dad went
can't.
to a karaoke bar with his
I
friends.
can't.
A few weeks later,
Yeah,
he was put
Ben,
on a
you're right. This is
ventilator.
why we need to focus on down
after
ballots. You're right.
5
Like, there's a lot of
agonizing
good
days,
progressives that can
he
be
died
elected.
alone
That's where,
in the
but like,
ICU
my
with a nurse
God.
holding his hand. My dad was a healthy 65-year-old. His only pre-existing condition was trusting Donald Trump, and for that, he paid with his life. I am not alone. Once I told my story, a lot of people reached out to me to share theirs. They asked me to help them keep their communities safe, especially communities of color, which have been disproportionately affected. They asked me, a normal person, to help because Donald Trump won't.
Let's go post a...
The coronavirus has made it clear that there are two Americas. The America that Donald Trump lives in and the America that my father died in. Enough is enough. Donald Trump may not have caused the coronavirus.
I mean, this is okay.
But his
This is good.
dishonesty and
See,
his
again, I like hearing
irresponsible
from regular
actions made it
people.
so much worse. We need a leader who has a national, coordinated, data-driven response to stop this pandemic from claiming more lives and to safely reopen the country. We need a leader who will step in on day one and do his job, to care. One of the last things that my father said to me was that he felt betrayed.
Yeah, people are saying
by the
sounds like
likes
a
of
Dodge
Donald
Ram
Trump.
slogan. Somebody's
And so
replied to
when
my
I cast
tweet.
my vote for Joe Biden, I will do it for my dad.
Like, look,
Thank you.
if you're
Christian,
gonna vote for
sharing
Joe
your
Biden,
story.
it's
Our
like
nation
it's because
grieves
Donald
for your
Trump is
father
awful, right?
and
Like that's the
all
only
those who've
acceptable
we've
reason to
lost
vote for
this
Joe.
virus. It's a toll that hasn't
Like,
fallen
she's right.
equally
People
on
listen to
us.
Donald Trump.
People of color have been disproportionately affected, dying at greater rates than white Americans, but we can honor all of those we've lost.
See, that's the
by
thing.
giving
She's right
Joe
when
Biden
she
and
says
Kamala Harris the
disproportionately
opportunity
people of
to
color
put
have
in
died
place
more
a
from
real
COVID. Same thing in
national
Canada.
plan that
By the way,
tests
same
and
thing in
tracks,
Canada. This is
that
not
makes
a unique
sure
thing
that
to the
access
States.
to a vaccine will be fair and
But
turns the full power of our government toward
we
making
can
sure
say
we
that
have the
about
supplies
any
and
healthcare
technology
issue.
and people. Scientists
So
and
why
public
is
health
it the
officials
case
and
that a
contact tracers,
disproportionate
we
amount of
need
people of
to
color
stop
die from COVID, so
right
we need
now,
to cover COVID?
Let's
What
hear
about
from a
heart
champion
disease?
for our
What about
frontline workers, who
cancer?
also happens
All
to be an
those
Olympic
things.
champion and a World Cup champion, Megan Rapinoe.
Hi, everybody. My name is Megan Rapinoe, and I have the
Ben Riley
honor
says, I'd
today
rather
to host a
reconcile with my
conversation
abusive father than vote
with
for Joe
4
Biden. At
of
least
our
he didn't
frontline
gaslight
workers
me,
here in
had the
America.
decency
We
to
should
just hit
rename
me and
them,
then go get milk.
heroes.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Absolutely.
pretty dark, Ben.
Chung-Li, can
But
you tell
yeah,
us a
I
little
mean,
bit about how you're doing
yeah.
during this time?
So early
Joe
on,
Biden's
when
certainly
the
trying to
government was
sugarcoat it.
still trying to figure out proper protocols to protect frontline workers, I had unfortunately contracted COVID through patient contact and was isolated by myself for 2 weeks. So total isolation, no contact. Once I recovered, luckily, I went back to the front lines to continue to take care of the sick. And what got me originally was watching people die alone. There were no visitors allowed. Everyone was totally isolated. And I knew how that felt because for 2 weeks, that was me. Not knowing if you were going to wake up, not knowing if you were going to make it, who you were going to talk to, if you can say goodbye. This was people's moms, dads, brothers, sisters, sons, daughters, all dying alone. And we know there's a round 2 coming, and mentally, physically, emotionally, I don't know how many of us on the front lines are going to survive that second round.
Trump's wall has to keep us in. Well, I said it's ironic as it is, guys.
What
Trump
effects
wanted to build a
are you
wall. Of
seeing
course, the wall
inside
never
your
got built. That's
hospital
another
doors
promise broken.
of the inaction
But
of the Trump
a lot of
administration
people
when
have
it comes to
noted
this
that
COVID response?
basically the United States is being told they're not allowed to go anywhere
Department in tears, and so
because you
a lot
guys
of my
have done so
colleagues,
bad with this
people are
with COVID
exhausted, and
that
we're
other
looking at the
countries aren't letting you
tsunami
in.
that's coming this winter with COVID
Canada's
and
like, we're not
influenza.
reopening that border yet.
I think all
And
of us are
most of
wondering,
Europe,
how is our
as they're
system not gonna
gradually
just collapse?
reopening,
Because
they're
if we're
like,
not
yeah,
there,
nobody
people
from the
come with
United
their
States or
broken
Brazil,
arms,
please. We
or
can't
they
trust
come
you.
with their heart attacks and strokes, their appendicitis. We're not going to be there.
What were you seeing on the front lines in those very early days that you knew it wasn't going to magically disappear? Did you think it was a hoax then?
Oh, absolutely. We knew that this was not a hoax. We were certain of it. All of us knew from experience back in 2009 with the swine flu. We knew
See, like,
what
again,
a
like,
pandemic would look like.
I do
We
like how they're
knew
talking to doctors
that
and
we needed
nurses
to
and
have
stuff.
the tools and the resources and the plans in place. But then we have the ineptitude and
No,
the
Ben,
lack of
Ben,
leadership
feel
from
free to
this
share
administration.
100%. I was just
I've
saying,
seen
like,
the worst of the worst.
I don't know how to comment, but
not
he's
only
like,
have
sir,
I
was that too
answered
real?
thousands
It's
of
just, is it
polls
seriously triggering
of
to me?
people
They're
that are
blatantly
sick,
lying.
but
No, Ben, I get you.
People that are dying.
I get you. Or they're,
Michelle, tell us a little
they're
bit
saying
about
the
how it's
truth.
been
Like, they'll
for
tell you the
you,
truth
on
about
the
Donald
front
Trump. They're not
lines,
lying
what
about
your
Trump.
specific
They're
role
not.
is
as a union
But
nurse,
then, what
I've
they'll
been
then go
primarily
to,
more in the
they'll
forefront
say
on
like, oh,
advocating that our
COVID
healthcare
disproportionately
workers
affects
and our
minorities,
patients get the
and we need better
and
healthcare
the
access.
PPE that they need.
The plan we're
You know,
endorsing
10
will
years ago,
disproportionately affect
I responded
minorities,
to the
and
disaster
we've
in
had the
Haiti.
choice of
We
endorsing
were
Medicare
working
for
in
all, which
in a tech
90%
hospital
of our
after the
party's voters
earthquake,
support, but we
but-
told them to go F themselves.
You know, the first time that I ever feared for my life, and my
KC
family's
says, I just
walking
realized
into
I'm really
work
only watching this to
was
hate watch
in
the
my own
DNC.
country.
Yeah, I
have
mean,
the
that's
money,
one of the
we have
reasons
the
I'm streaming
means.
this. So
We
you're right at
have
home,
the
okay? You're
resources
right at
in
home.
this
And I'm
country.
guessing, let
We are
me know in the
deeply
comments, guys,
lacking
if he's
leadership
not
in
the
so
only
many
one, or
areas.
they're not the only one.
Trump has made it perfectly clear.
Also,
how
if
he
you have
feels.
a second, if you're enjoying the stream and you're
we
new
need a
here, click
president who
subscribe.
cares.
Great to have you
That's Joe
aboard.
Biden.
And if you're not new, but you're just here, click the
Aldo
like
Martinez,
button.
Michelle Boyle,
Click that like button. It
Chung Lee.
helps
I
more
can't
people
thank
come
you
to the
enough.
stream.
The American people are forever indebted
Smokey
to
wants
you,
me to
to
attack
your
the
work
camera.
and your sacrifice.
Look, I
and
mean,
just
look,
you
people are
showing
gonna vote
up
for
every
Biden.
single
That's
day
like,
and giving
I
everything
get
you
it.
have.
That's
And thank
fine.
you again for all of the work
I've
you do
said
on the
like
front line.
a lot of people are
There's
voting
no
for
way we could
Biden.
ever
I
repay
just
you, so thank you.
I don't
very
know
much.
if this I don't know if this is gonna convince a lot of people. Like talking to these regular Americans, I find is pretty good. I think this is a good idea.
Senior citizens rely on the postal system for prescription.
See, like, look, this is good.
medicines
I said I wanted this.
Having the postal service to deliver my
Yes, I do have a Discord.
became
Thanks
even
for
more
reminding me.
comforting when the
I'm gonna drop the
COVID-19
Discord,
virus hit
invite
us here in the
people.
United States.
Here is a link to the Discord. Feel free to come aboard on the Discord.
And his attempts to undermine the United States Postal Service, we are extremely concerned.
Oh, Chrissy,
This
well,
administration's decision
yeah,
not to
I mean, he
provide
certainly is. He
necessary
certainly is trying to
funding.
screw the post office. Chrissy, you've seen my videos. Chrissy is something of a Biden supporter that comes on some of my videos, and but Chrissy, you'll have to admit that
realistic option.
I don't not criticize Donald Trump, and I've never told people to not vote for Biden. I've never said that, and I've never told people to vote for Trump. And while I respect the decision of people to vote third party or vote for Biden, I've never, ever respected anyone who said vote for Trump. In fact, you'll see me comment on people who say, I'm going to vote for Trump to punish the DNC. And I comment to those people and I say, LOL, that's stupid, because it is. I just don't think Biden really wants to defeat Donald Trump all that much if he's willing to, do so much to like cater to like the 3% of Republicans that might vote for him that aren't yet.
Ties to our state and is here in Maine with me. She is reminding all of us to
yeah. Thanks, Samantha. I got it. Yeah.
With her song that
Jesse
she's
says, could his at least end the far right worldwide?
Inspiration to all of us and one of my favorite artists.
Like you think? Well, I don't quite understand, Jesse. Do you think like Donald Trump does such a bad job? He ends the alt right. I mean, the far right maybe. I don't think so though. I think that honestly, one fear I have is Biden wins, because I actually think Biden's got a good chance of winning. Not that and then he does a bad job, and then we get President Cotton in 2024, who's even more crazy than Trump maybe, or more right wing, but much more competent. And I worry about that. I worry that the Republicans might not say the lesson here is we have to be more like moderate conservatives like Angela Merkel in Germany. We have to be more like Tom Cotton. We just need a Trump that acts like a respectable politician. Yeah, wanting Trump over Biden is ridiculous, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not putting up with that. I've never told anybody I don't vote shame. But if you vote for Trump now, it's the only reason to do it, guys. The only reason is because you believe what Donald Trump believes. And if you believe what Trump believes, you're no comrade of mine. Do not vote for Donald Trump. Don't do it. It's stupid. You can't vote for Biden. Look, I get it. I'm not a vote shamer. Vote third party. Write in someone's name. Like literally draw like a middle finger over the Biden thing and the Trump thing. Do whatever. Do not vote for Trump. Because that makes, guys, if you vote for Trump now, like you're pretty much a racist if you vote for Trump now. 2016, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Anyone voting for Donald Trump now is making a conscious vote for racism. That simple as that. There's no punishing the DNC by voting for Trump. That's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid, guys. I'm not putting up with that. I don't care if I lose viewers because of that. No more people in my comments better be like, I'm gonna punish the DNC by voting for Trump. No, you punish the DNC by not voting for them. Yeah, I get that argument. Whether it works or not, we don't know. But you don't punish them by voting for the racist-er guy than Biden. Yeah, I've never told anyone to vote for Trump. And I've even said, if I was an American, right now I'd lean towards voting Biden. With a bottle of liquor in one hand and a vomit bag in the other. But I might vote for Biden. Ben says, if I voted for Biden, Prince Zuko would just say, that's rough, buddy. American strategy, why not take all COVID and push it somewhere else? Yeah, why don't we just build a pipeline and like pump it into the ocean? We'll pump all the COVID into the ocean. That'll work.
And pain and death that really didn't have to be this
Yeah, we have some
way.
Trump voters that come on these things.
That would have taken this pandemic seriously in the beginning, we would not be in a situation.
Yeah, voting for Trump is racist because the guy's a racist and his policies are based fundamentally in white supremacy. Fundamentally. Whereas Biden's policies are sometimes based in white supremacy, but not fundamentally so.
We don't have the money for that kind of equipment. We're going to have classrooms packed with students.
Again, I do not tell people that you're a bad person if you don't vote for Joe Biden. But guys, you are a bad person if you vote for Donald Trump. You are. I'm sorry. Like I'm not. You're a bad person. If you're this politically engaged to watch me and you're voting for Donald Trump, you know better.
Of doctors, and we're going to do everything we can to get Joe Biden elected.
Like, look, I'm not vouch, and I'm not gonna be like, you know, you have to not even criticize Biden, but like, you know, I'm like, don't vote for Trump. My goodness. Because I'm getting some people here who are like, you got to vote for Trump to punish Biden. To truly punish the Democrats, you have to vote for everything, like for
Whitmer,
the worst person.
As Donald Trump calls me, that woman from Michigan. Tonight I'm here at UAW Local 652 in Lansing, Michigan. Auto workers in this union and across our state could have lost their jobs if not for Barack Obama and Joe Biden. In 2009, the Obama-Biden administration inherited the worst.
First of all, Lulu, one of the things he's talked about in recent weeks has been the housing policy, and his whole narrative is that poor people of color are going to come into your neighborhoods and steal your lily-white suburban dreams, your 1950s Mad Men housewife suburban dream. Black men and their children and their wives are going to come and steal it from you. That's white supremacist policy. I don't need to. You're not going to sea lion.
You know, just a few months.
We're gonna listen to Gretchen Whitmer lie about how Biden gives a fuck about
auto workers,
which he doesn't. Joe Biden does not care about auto workers.
They started making protective equipment for doctors and nurses.
They did not raise the minimum wage during the entire 8 Obama-Biden years.
And Vice President Biden saved
minimum wage didn't go up.
Livelihoods.
They didn't improve. They didn't get rid of right to work.
Did their part to save American lives. That's the story of this great nation. Action begets action. Progress begets progress. And when we work together,
American economic strategy. Did you say it to Wumbo?
After all,
Ben's coming with the hits tonight.
Sport, especially now. It's crucial that we rally together to fight this virus and build our economy.
Yeah, he didn't even fix Flint. Yeah.
From the jump, we took this pandemic seriously in Michigan. We listened to medical experts. We planned. And with a lot of work from the auto workers, and too little help from the White House, we executed our plan. We saved thousands of lives. Just imagine if we had a national strategy. So everyone who needs a test gets one for free. So everyone has access to a safe vaccine. So our kids and educators have the resources they need to safely get back to school. With Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in the White House, we will.
She does have a great Midwestern accent, though. You can hear it come through, eh?
It'll be science.
You can hear it come
not
through.
Politics or ego.
Froze there for a little bit, but I fixed it, guys. Don't worry.
They know the
Yeah, she does have that Midwestern accent. Smokey is meowing up a storm, guys, if you hear him.
They know action begets action. Over the past few months, we've learned what's essential.
Yeah, I can see why he didn't pick her. She's like Kamala Harris is a better is
essential too.
Speaks with more relatability than this.
A president who fights
I can see why she didn't pick her.
Rather than fight the virus that's killing us and our
because she was considered a contender to be VP.
Who put their own
she was considered a contender
to care for the rest of us. They are the MVPs. The nurses
Leslie says, I'm enjoying the Canadian swearing heart. That accent is awesome, LOL. Do you mean my accent or Gretchen Whitmer's accent? Sometimes people say I have an accent, but I don't hear it, obviously.
So many of these essential workers have lost their lives to COVID.
Ben says, I don't have enough dopamine for this. Night, bro. Ben, good one. Have a good one. Thanks so much for the support. Have a great night.
Including a 5-year-old girl named Skylar.
Gerson says, my nickname is Smokey. Well, that's great. You and my cat have something in common. Angry cat. Angry cat says, meow, I hear you, kitty. It's great.
Or what we fail to do.
Trump on Twitter, Lulu, said Joe Biden through Cory Booker. Now, Cory Booker has never been a housing secretary at any level. He said Cory Booker, who just happens to be a black man, and Joe Biden are going to come in and force poor people into your neighborhood. Now, we know what that means in the history of the United States. That means, yes, poor white people, but also poor black and Hispanic people are going to come in and steal your neighborhoods. It was a white supremacist dog whistle. More of a foghorn, really.
Holds a special place for me.
100%.
And I remember every town, in every hotel room, every song I ever sang.
Okay, I don't know about that. You have an accent. Okay, that's interesting.
And I remember every night.
You say oot and a boot sometimes as a Vancouverite. That's interesting, my name, hello, hello. That's interesting. You're from Germany, my name is hello, hello. Do you have friends from Vancouver in Germany, or do you have you spent time in Canada? Oh, is John Kasich up next?
We, the people, means all.
Only on
people,
certain words,
like
Joseph says.
We might not agree, even those we might not expect to see at a Democratic convention.
Yeah, okay, it's definitely going to be the Republican alley here. I'm going to grab some water for this. I got to
and across the aisle. The stakes in this election call for that kind of leadership. We have to think about more than one party. We have to think about the very core of our democracy. And that's why you're about to hear from some unexpected voices.
I'm Governor Christine Todd Whitman. What am I doing here? I'm a lifelong Republican. My parents were introduced at a Republican National Convention by their parents. That's how far back it goes. But this isn't about a Republican or Democrat. It's about a person.
Now, somebody had a great tweet on social media showing that all three of these major Republicans, three of them, they all spoke at the 96 Republican convention.
Donald Trump.
So this is like a Republican alley here.
I'm Meg Whitman. I'm a longtime Republican and a longtime CEO. And let me tell you, Donald Trump has no clue how to run a business, let alone an economy. Joe Biden, on the other hand, has a plan that will strengthen
that argument doesn't work.
People and small
Look, Trump
business
is an
owners.
awful businessman,
me,
but my
the
God,
choice
they
is simple.
tried this in
I'm with
2016.
Joe.
They tried this.
Hi,
Fucking
I'm
tried
Susan
it.
Molinari. I'm a former Republican member of Congress from
They
New York
tried
City,
it.
and I've known Donald Trump for most of my political career. So
Remember that?
disappointing.
Do you guys
and
remember
maybe
this
so
crap?
disturbing. Now, I've also gotten to know and work with Joe Biden on issues related to women that are so important to all of us. women in business, violence against women.
No matter.
That's why I'm so proud
Catch Christo's
to call
summary,
him
yeah.
my friend and honored to join in supporting his candidacy for president. He's a really good man, and he's exactly what this nation needs at this time. Now I'm delighted and honored to introduce a former colleague of mine, the former congressman from Ohio, the former governor of Ohio, John Kasich.
America is at a crossroads. Sometimes elections represent a real choice, a choice we make as individuals and as a nation about which path we want to take when we've come to challenging times. America is at that crossroads today.
He's literally at a goddamn crossroad
than any in modern times.
Why?
Many of us have been deeply concerned about the current path we've been following for the past 4 years.
He's literally at a crossroads, guys.
Division, dysfunction, irresponsibility, and growing vitriol between our citizens. Continuing to follow that path will have terrible consequences for America's soul, because we're being taken down the wrong road by a president who is pitted one against the other. He's unlike all of our best leaders before him, who worked to unite us, to bridge our differences,
tried to
and
steal
lead us
the
to a
fundamental
united
human rights
I'm a
of
lifelong
women,
Republican,
of
but that
gay
attachment
people,
holds second place to my
and of
responsibility
working
to my
class
country.
people.
That's why I've chosen to appear at this convention. In normal times, something like this would probably never happen. But these are not normal times. I'm proud of my Republican heritage. It's the party of Lincoln, who reflected its founding principles of unity and a higher purpose.
I mean, Lincoln...
But what I have witnessed these past 4 years belies those principles. Many of us can't imagine 4 more years going down this path. And that's why I'm asking you to join with me in choosing a better way forward. I believe the best of America lies ahead, but only when we rediscover our shared belief in the United States of America.
Konst put out a great tweet saying, anyone else watching the Republican convention?
If we choose to make it so. I've known Joe Biden for 30 years. I know his story of profound grief that has so deeply affected his character. I know Joe is a good man, a man of faith, a unifier, someone who understands the hopes and dreams of the common man and the common woman.
Yeah, Joe Biden understands those, but if he does, he certainly doesn't fucking give a damn.
He knows that the path to a restored and rejuvenated America lies in respect.
He's like, oh, Joe Biden's like, I understand that working class people need health care, so I'm not going to give them health care.
There are areas where Joe and I absolutely disagree, but that's okay, because that's America. Because whatever our differences, we respect one another as human beings, each of us searching for justice and for purpose. We can all see what's going on in our country today and all the questions that are facing us. And
guys, I'm
no one
aghast
person
at what
or
we're
party
seeing here.
has all the answers. But what we do know is that we
I
can
am
do better
aghast at what we're
than
seeing.
what we've been seeing today, for sure. And I know that Joe Biden, with his experience and his wisdom and his decency, can bring us together to help us find that better way. I'm sure there are Republicans and independents who couldn't imagine crossing over to support a Democrat. They fear Joe may turn sharp left and leave them behind. I don't believe that, because I know the measure of the man.
Okay, this is the first truthful thing he said. Biden will not turn left.
No one pushes Joe around. Joe Biden is a man for our times, times that call for all of us to take off our partisan hats and put our nation first for ourselves and, of course, for our children. When America chooses the right path and pulls
Nomiki's
together,
great.
like we've done
Nomiki's
so many
great.
times before,
Her channel is criminally
we can
underviewed.
dream big dreams.
I mean, I think
We can
mine
see
is a
the
little
top
bit,
of the
but hers
mountain
maybe even more than
as a
mine.
United States of America with a soul that
And
is a
it doesn't hurt
beacon
just she's
of
a
freedom
fellow
to the
Greek like I
entire
am.
world.
Yeah, he fought against unions. He fought against the basic rights of women.
Hello, my name is Terry Williams, and I've been a Republican for all of my adult life.
See, I don't mind hearing from regular Republicans. These people...
I've been a long-standing Republican, and I'm telling you, you got to vote for Joe Biden.
I have voted for and campaigned for Republicans since the Reagan years, but I won't be voting for Donald Trump in November.
I'm supporting Joe Biden for president.
We need a positive leader, someone who can work with both sides, the Republicans and the Democrats.
I don't think we can deal with the type of person we have in the White House any longer.
Vote, America. That's the only way to get out of this. And Joe Biden is just the person to ensure we get our lives back to normal.
Joe Biden is a decent man with a long history of public service to America.
Leslie Brown with the shucked hippo? Hippo, maybe? Leslie, thanks for the support. I very much appreciate it. God, that was painful, guys. That was fucking hell.
And decency.
Now, at least we're getting Bernie still. We're getting Bernie still. And Michelle Obama, at least, is a good and engaging speaker. So, like, but we're getting Bernie still. We're getting Bernie, at least.
And now, from Alabama, Senator Doug Jones.
I'm Senator Doug Jones from the great state of Alabama. Growing up
yeah,
in the
remember,
South,
Reagan laughed at people with AIDS.
But
he
it was
laughed
here
at
in
them.
Alabama where Rosa Parks helped ignite a movement by refusing to give up her seat on a bus, where freedom riders of different races came together in pursuit of equality. And it was here in Alabama where John Lewis marched across a bridge toward freedom. From a young age, I knew the hope that comes from seeing good people work to heal our divisions. It's what led me to become the United States Attorney, where I convicted 2 Klansmen who murdered 4
Paul,
young
tell us how
black
you really
girls
feel.
in a
Yeah, I'm really holding it back, guys.
bombing and
God,
delivered
imagine if
long
this was me
overdue
holding. You
I'm
guys know
standing
me.
in
My
front of an
channel is not a
dedicated to their
profanity-laden
Alabama
channel.
has shown me that even
I
our
try not
deepest
to swear
divisions
too
can
much.
be
One, because it
overcome.
gets you demonetized.
Because
But
each of us
2,
want the same
I'm not a big swearer
to be
guy.
treated fairly and
Yeah,
given
I
the
mean,
same
John,
opportunities and the freedom
Doug Jones
to
is
live
going to have a
with
real
dignity
hard
and
time getting
respect.
reelected. Like,
Now,
I'm not even
some
making a judgment
politicians try
about
to
him.
pit us
He's
against each
far
other.
too conservative for
But
me.
I
But
believe that Americans
it was a
have more in
fluky
common
one.
than
It was
what
a
divides us.
perfect storm.
And in November,
He's not winning
we have
again.
a chance to elect a president who believes that too. I've known Joe for more than 40 years. I met him as a wide-eyed law student, and he's been my friend and champion ever since. The Joe I know is exactly the leader our country needs right now. He can bring people together to find common ground while standing up for what he believes is right. After years of bitter partisanship, he can unite our country and get things done for working families and everyone looking for a better future. Because it's not about what side of the aisle we're on, it's about whether or not we're on the side of the people. The great John Lewis would often quote the old African proverb, when you pray,
Kyle
move your feet,
Kalinske
and then
making a
challenge us
conscious
to do
choice
just
to not
that.
watch this.
As a
I
nation,
think
he
Kyle
said,
from
if we
Secular
care
Talk
for
is a
the
bit
beloved
smarter than the
community,
rest of us.
we must move
He's
our
like, I'm
feet,
watching basketball
our hands,
tonight,
our
guys. It's a far
resources
better use of
to
my
build
time.
and not tear down, to
But I guess
reconcile
we're
and
all
not to
gluttons
divide,
for punishment
to love and not to hate,
here on the Christo
to heal
Aivalis channel.
and not to kill.
Again, guys, if you
In the final
if you want, click the like
we are
button.
one people,
Helps to show
one
people the
family,
stream. Click that
one
like button.
house, the American house.
If you're enjoying
the
this and you're
American
new
family.
here, click
Vice
the
President
subscribe
Biden
button.
understands that, and he is who we need as our next president.
Here we are on a Monday night in 2020, and we need to talk about the post office.
One sec,
The
guys.
U.S. Postal Service. It is central to so much of our lives. Veterans count on the post office to get their prescriptions. Social Security
So 20 minutes
beneficiaries
to, I think
count
so.
on the post office
I
to
wonder
get
if,
their
like, are they
checks.
running behind
Grandparents
schedule? Because
depend on the
Bernie
post
hasn't
office to
spoken
send
yet.
birthday cards to their grandkids.
Because
Small
on
businesses
schedule
need
tonight, they're
the
supposed
post
to be
office to do business. And guess
Amy
what?
Klobuchar
The post
still
office
hasn't
is also
spoken.
one of the ways we
Michelle
cast
Obama
our
hasn't
votes.
spoken.
To find out how to exercise that right this November, whether by mail
and
or in
Bernie
person,
hasn't yet. And
text VOTE,
so
VOTE.
I wonder if they're running a little bit behind schedule, or maybe I'm just
Here
not
to say
judging the
more
time right.
Is the first Latina elected to the United States Senate, Senator Catherine Cortez Masto.
Hello, I'm Senator Catherine Cortez Masto from Nevada. This year, more Americans
Is
than
that-
ever before going
is
to
that
vote
a
from rooms
green
just like
screen
this,
house?
marking their ballots.
Am
at the
I
kitchen
being
table
paranoid, or is that a
and
green screen
exercising
house?
One of our most fundamental rights from home. But despite
Like,
what the
did she
president
learn
says,
from
voting by
Nancy
mail has
Pelosi
been
with
a
the
secure,
$12,000
proven option for
luxury ice
decades.
cream fridge?
In
And she's like,
2016,
take a
33
picture of a
million
regular
Americans
person's
voted by
house.
mail.
Or
Even
maybe I'm
Donald
just
Trump
maybe
has
I'm being
requested an
being
absentee
cynical.
ballot
But
twice
that
this
doesn't
year.
look like
This fall, some
it
Americans
doesn't
will
like
choose to vote in a voting booth.
maybe I'm
with a
being
mask
cynical.
on, while many of us will choose to vote by mail.
Dianon says
My
Bernie
home
up at
state took the advice
10:36.
of
Okay.
scientists and medical experts
I didn't
and
see the
listened to
minute by
people of
minute
Nevada
schedule.
to put in
I'm
place
gonna
a
take a look
vote-by-mail
for that. Maybe
system,
they only posted that
voters
after I
have a lot
started.
of options this fall. But Donald Trump is trying to divide us by undermining that right. He has threatened to withhold federal funding to Nevada because of our vote-by-mail system. That's funding our schools and seniors rely on. He has challenged us in court with a meritless lawsuit, one that our Republican Secretary of State has asked the judge to dismiss.
Guys,
and now he is putting the
some of these are
lives of Nevada
pre-recorded.
seniors
Some
at
of these
risk
at least are
by
pre-recorded.
trying
Some
to
of them
defund
aren't
the post
because they
office.
clearly didn't get
Here's
the
what that
timing
means.
right. Like
Seniors
Jim
won't be
Clyburn was
able
not
to get
pre-recorded.
their
That must have been live
because he
or
wants
nearly
to win
live.
an election. Well, Mr. President, Nevada is not intimidated by you.
Lovely
America
Pry, thank you so much.
is not intimidated by you. We are united by shared values, shared history, and shared rights, including our fundamental right to vote. And this fall, we will send Joe Biden to the White House and we'll flip
Let me
the
see if
US
other
Senate.
people are mentioning this.
With Mitch McConnell out of power and a Democratic majority in the Senate, we will expand voting access and protect voting rights. To do this, America, we need you on our side. So go to joebiden.com.
Not a lot of other people are mentioning it.
And then head over to flipthesenate.com.
Maybe
to
it's
help
like,
us
maybe,
take
I don't know,
back
maybe
the
we're,
Senate.
I'm not sure.
Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell know how to divide. But we know how to stand together and turn this
Kyle
country
Kalinske
around.
says, all I want is Medicare for all and a UBI, and these motherfuckers are force-feeding me
This
this
year
bullshit.
we had an
That's
historic
Kyle Kalinske,
field
our
of
friend
presidential
Kyle.
Candidates. An historic number of women, including our vice presidential nominee, Kamala Harris, more candidates of color than any primary ever, and the first openly gay man to win a caucus. This party, the Democratic Party, welcomes everyone.
I mean, she's doing a good
encourages
job, Eva
everyone
Longoria,
to
as a
lead and
host. Like,
invites
technically,
everyone's ideas
she's doing a good job.
to ensure this country builds back better. This is what our next speaker believes too. Senator Amy Klobuchar.
Hello, America. Like my friend Catherine,
If
I
she does
believe
the
that
blizzard
right to
joke,
vote
guys,
is
I'm gonna lose my
fundamental,
shit.
And the post office is essential. You know, the president may hate the post office, but he's still going to have to send them a change of address card come January. Donald Trump just happens to be in my state
her
today,
jokes are so
trying to
bad.
divide people instead of responding to the pandemic and the significant needs of our economy. But Democrats, independents, and yes, many Republicans have had enough of his divisiveness. Tonight, my friends, in contrast, we've heard a lot about how we can unite as Americans, about our shared values, our shared dreams, how we've come together in the face of crisis. But I want to be clear. Unity isn't about settling. It's about striving for something more. It isn't the end, it's the means. It's how we get stuff done. Unity is about reaching up toward a higher purpose, a better future
there's
for
been
all
one-
of us. E pluribus unum, out of many, one. It is more than a motto. It is
Like,
the North
let's be
Star
real.
for our democracy.
There was
Now
one
more
truthful
than ever,
thing
we need
tonight.
a president who will unite this country.
When John
We need a
Kasich
president
said-
who, in George Floyd's memory, instead of using the Bible as a prop,
Like, I
will
don't believe
heed
that
its
Biden's going to
words
make a sharp
to
left turn.
act
That's like the
justly.
most truthful thing
We
tonight.
need a president for
It's one of the
workers
few
who've
lies,
lost their
the
jobs,
few
because
truths we've
this
heard, period,
administration
that
is
weren't
selling
from like
American
regular
workers
people.
out
Like when they were
when
talking
we
to
need
nurses and
buy
doctors and
American.
teachers.
For the
Those people were
farmers and
telling the truth, but
manufacturers
like,
and the people of rural America who are sick and
oh
tired
yeah,
of reaping what
like,
he's sown.
like if
We need
yeah,
a president who
watch
will look
out for a
to the
stapler,
seniors,
guys.
like my dad.
Watch out
whose
for a
families
stapler
now visit
flying
them
off
through
the camera
glass
here.
windows, never knowing if it will be the last time they see them. We need a president for all of America. I come from the middle of this country where we believe in people joining together to solve problems. We seek common ground to reach higher ground. That's been Joe Biden's life's work. He's a man of scrappy, working-class roots, a man whose own hardships have only made him more determined to lift up those who have been left out. He understands redemption, and he knows resilience. Joe Biden's a man of deep experience. Barack Obama, better known tonight as Michelle's husband, he leaned on Joe.
God, her
for his
jokes are
strength
so
and
bad,
decency,
guys.
and you can
God.
too. You know, most candidates, when they end their campaign, that day is a hard one. For me, it was a moment filled with great joy, because the day I ended my presidential campaign was also the day I endorsed Joe Biden. Joe ran for the same reasons I did when I announced my campaign in the middle of that blizzard on the banks of the Mississippi River. To cross the river of our divides, to bring this nation together, to be a president for all of America. As I said the day I endorsed him, if you feel stuck in the middle of the extremes
You guys
in our
remember? I
politics,
just remembered
if you
when
are
she was
tired of
like,
the noise and the
actually,
nonsense, you have a
Lawrence
home with me,
O'Donnell, I
and
am
you have a
withdrawing
home with Joe
from the
Biden.
vice president
That's why I was so
consideration.
proud to stand
I know
with
I would
him
probably
then
totally
and
get it,
across this
but like,
great country.
I am
That's
quitting.
Why we are all
I'm
now
quitting.
standing united.
Like she knew
behind
she
Joe
wasn't gonna get
and my
picked,
friend
so
Kamala.
she like
Our
was like,
nation's
"Nah, I'm
motto
out. Actually,
is out of
I'm
many,
out."
one. And as you're about to see, it's also the story of the Democratic primary. Thank you, America.
We all ran for president, motivated by the same reasons.
As I watched President Trump divide this country more and more, I thought to myself, what are you willing to do to stop
Remember
him?
Kirsten Gillibrand ran for president? God, I barely.
Hateful, racist president.
I forgot she ran for president for a while. She was in so briefly.
Apart the fabric of the United States of America.
Donald Trump is a failed business person and desperately failed us as a president.
We will run!
Stare, one of the few billionaires that I don't instantly hate.
We are still in control of our own future.
There's Yang.
And we need to provide millions of Americans a real path forward.
A green jobs program.
Increasing the minimum wage.
Passing a national paid leave bill.
Student loan debt.
Mental health, starting with our veterans.
God, I don't even know who that is. I don't even know who that is. Who was that?
Racial justice.
Was that Tim Ryan? I don't even know.
A new
who was that?
Can do to bring us together.
It's time to get up. Get back.
Starting a presidential
Who
campaign
is he?
is daunting.
Oh.
I mean, you have to reach hundreds of millions of people.
You have these incredibly long days, often capped off by these evening events that go on for hours and hours.
Your challenge as a candidate is to be true to yourself and true to why you ran in the first
Bloomberg
place.
is speaking at this convention.
That I really admire.
I don't know if it's tonight, but Bloomberg is speaking, and he's getting more time than he's getting more time than AOC is. That's for sure.
Who are being left behind, who are being ignored.
Yeah.
DACA recipient, and I owe you everything. Thank you so much.
And you're staying, man.
You know, he's had some hard times in his life. He's had some losses in his life. And I think that is something that people relate to.
You doing okay?
Yep, close to 15 years cancer-free.
God love you.
Well, I was at a service for 4 fallen Afghanistan soldiers, and I saw those families who were so
Brianna Joy Gray,
comforted by
truly
Joe
would love
Biden
to hear
when
about
they walked
policy.
out.
Did I
They knew
miss it?
someone cared for them,
Hashtag
someone
Dem
could
Convention
relate to their own
2020.
pain they were having. We need that in the White House.
I still remember standing side by side with him on the debate stage, and we were having a go of it. But what was remarkable
Remember
was
that
the commercial break
that Cory Booker
and starts telling me how good my ideas are. And next thing you know, I feel like he's giving me a pep talk and literally telling me how important it is.
Okay, reminder that Cory Booker was the one that really and questioned whether Joe Biden had the cognitive health to get the job done. That was Cory Booker. That wasn't the left. Like, we didn't start that. That was Cory Booker and Julian Castro last fall being like, this guy isn't all there anymore. That was him.
Joe Biden has pulled it off.
He wants to get the best ideas on the table so we can move forward in the
Hazaifa
best way
Wajid?
possible.
I don't know if I said that right. Apologies if I didn't, but thank you so much for the support and for the pair giving me a cup of coffee. Thank you so much.
I'm very excited that that's in there.
He's the kind of leader that brings other leaders in.
This is a guy that's going to walk into the Oval Office and not have to find his way around, but it will actually walk in and have already sort of honed the instincts you need to lead the most powerful nation on earth through a crisis.
On the other side, Donald Trump does not understand who we are as Americans. He really doesn't.
This is a guy that blames everyone for everything. You know, he blames the city of Baltimore. He blames the country of Denmark. He blames the Prime Minister of Canada for cutting him out of the Canadian version of Home Alone 2.
Yes, we know Amy Klobuchar. He's an idiot, but so is Justin Trudeau. Good God Almighty.
There's no hoping that someone else is going to come in and save the day. There is no cavalry. We are the cavalry.
The moment has found the person. That person is Joe Biden.
Joe has my vote because he will bring decency and dignity back to the White House.
We've got one shot to make Donald Trump a one-term
Jesus.
president. And that
So this
shot
happened
is
earlier
right
today.
now.
Rudy Giuliani went full anti-Semite. Said George Soros is intent on destroying our government for some sick reason of his that goes back to his sick background.
If you're able to
so
go
get
to
ready for
joebiden.com and chip in
that.
$5, $10, whatever you can.
I know that's not about tonight, but I just had to let you know
to save our democracy.
that Rudy Giuliani just went full 1930s Germany.
This happen, and no one knows that more than
So-
our next speaker, the Biden-Harris campaign's co-chair, Representative Cedric Richmond from New Orleans, Louisiana.
So I think Bernie's coming up after this. He's at 10:36. People are saying.
The places that make your neighborhood feel like home. The barbershop where you can catch up on the latest neighborhood news while you get your hair cut. The restaurant where they know your order by heart.
Leslie Brown, can't wait to hear Joe talk about his time as a civil rights activist. Good times. Yeah, certainly. We'll probably hear about his time with Nelson Mandela too.
A second home for the entire community.
Bernie at 10:36. People were saying.
Will tell you that small businesses like
somebody
this
shared
one
the schedule.
are critically important to our recovery.
Let me see if I can find that again.
But they're also just plain important. Without them, the places we call home just wouldn't be the same. That's the thing Joe Biden understands that Donald Trump never has and never will. When we talk about the economy, it's not just about the stock market. It's about whether you can find work that really means something to you, instead of feeling like you're supposed to be grateful just to get a paycheck. It's about whether people who didn't inherit millions from their parents can build a business from the ground up and have a real chance to compete. And it's about whether in the richest country on earth, everyone, including women and people of color, feel included and empowered. Economists will also tell you that Joe Biden's plan to rebuild our economy will create millions of jobs. But Joe will tell you that his plan is about more than that, because he's seen the world from a different perspective than most politicians. He knows what it's like to live in a real neighborhood, not just penthouse apartments. He knows what it's like to take the train to work, not just a chauffeured limousine. That's why he looks at our economic challenges the same way working people do. And
Like, it's like, oh, Joe Biden understands working class people. He just doesn't want to do anything with that understanding to actually make change. It's like, it's almost worse. Like, look, I'm not defending Trump, of course. I just ripped him for a good few minutes earlier in the stream. But like, the argument is like, oh, Joe Biden understands working class people and their struggles, and that's why he ignores the fundamental realities that he knows,
I
right?
think he's most comfortable around everyday working class people. It just always makes you feel like you belong.
Now, this is one advantage Biden has over Clinton. Believable or not, just purely strategy,
For more than
he
30
does
years,
folksy better.
Joe
No
Biden
one
took the
believed
train to
Hillary
work.
Clinton gave one single
As a
damn
single dad,
about regular people.
He promised to be home to kiss the boys
I think
every
with
night,
Biden,
and then make
some
them
people
breakfast
believe
in
it.
the morning.
Some people believe it.
When he got on the train, everyone seemed equal to him. He had time for everybody.
Joe was a regular. He bought rounds of coffee for fellow passengers and crew, and he got to know the people he traveled with.
These guys broke their necks. They're always rocking, keeping their balance, collecting tickets, help people with their bags that are heavy as hell. And they're doing this for hours. And we became really good friends.
He was very interested in my life, my children. As time went on, my grandchildren. People don't do that today. People don't even take time out to say hello or nod their head to the average working
What do you
person.
guys think?
They looked at us like we were important people.
What do you think? Do you think this is going to work for people?
Conductor the same as he would the president of the United States.
Watch this not as a as a
that everybody deserves.
super politico who watches like my channel, but like, do you think people
After
are going to
Joe
like
became
this?
Vice President, he cut down on his commute, but he kept in touch. When Greg Weaver had a heart attack, he got a phone call.
I love taking the train. We have V-Rail in
York
Canada.
City, and the
I
phone
love
rings.
taking the train. It's great.
And sure enough,
I
it was
love the
Vice
train.
President Biden asking me how I'm doing. He wanted to know the whole story. It's kind of funny that you're talking to the Vice President of the United States, but if I would have told them people in the barbershop, I don't think they would have believed me. I'm not saying it like it was me and I was anything special. Everybody was special to him. We have heroes all over this country, and a lot of the essential workers out there that we don't even see that are behind the scenes. They're keeping this country going. He understands that. The average guy is important to
Hashtag
him.
because of Bernie is trending right now. It's really good. All the reason what Bernie's inspired among young people, how these movements have happened. Here he is.
Our great nation is now living in an unprecedented moment. We're facing the worst public health crisis in 100 years and the worst economic collapse since the Great Depression. We are confronting systemic racism and the enormous threat to our planet of climate change. And in the midst of all of this, we have a president who is not only incapable of addressing these crises, but is leading us down the path of authoritarianism. This election is the most important in the modern history of this country. In response to the unprecedented crises we face, we need an unprecedented response, a movement like never before of people who are prepared to stand up and fight for democracy and decency and against greed, oligarchy, and bigotry. And we need Joe Biden as our next president. Let me take this opportunity to say a word to the millions of people who supported my campaign this year and in 2016. My friends, thank you for your trust, your support, and the love you showed Jane, me, and our family.
Thank you, Bernie.
Together, we have moved this country in a bold new direction, showing that all of us,
Thank you.
black
And Jane too.
white, Latino, Native American, Asian American, gay and straight, native-born and immigrant, yearn for a nation based on the principles of justice, love, and compassion. Our campaign ended several months ago, but our movement continues and is getting stronger every day. Many of the ideas we fought for that just a few years ago were considered radical are now mainstream.
He's right about that.
But let us be clear.
He's right
if
about that.
Donald Trump is reelected, all the progress we have made will be in jeopardy. At its most basic, this election is about preserving our democracy. During this president's term, the unthinkable has become normal. He has tried to prevent people from voting, undermined the U.S. Postal Service, deployed the military and federal agents against peaceful protesters, threatened to delay the election, and suggested that he will not leave office if he loses. This is not normal.
I mean, he's right.
And
Bernie's
we
right
must
here, what he's
never
saying, guys. He's
treat it
right.
like it is. Under this administration, authoritarianism has taken root in our country. I and my family, and many of yours, know the insidious way authoritarianism destroys democracy, decency, and humanity. As long as I am here, I will work with progressives, with moderates, and yes, with conservatives to preserve this nation from a threat that so many of our heroes fought and died to defeat. This president is not just a threat to our democracy, but by rejecting science, he has put our lives and health in jeopardy. Trump has attacked doctors and scientists trying to protect us from the pandemic, while refusing to take strong action to produce the masks, gowns, and gloves our healthcare workers desperately need. Nero fiddled while Rome burned. Trump golfs. His actions fanned this pandemic resulting in over 170,000 deaths and a nation still unprepared to protect its people. Furthermore, Trump's negligence has exacerbated the economic crisis we are now experiencing. Since this pandemic
Cal Kalinske
began,
says the next Bernie won't be so nice.
30 million people have lost
It's
their
interesting.
jobs, and many have lost their health insurance. Millions of working families are wondering how they will feed their kids.
He's right.
And they're worried that they will
A lot of
be
them are worried, though,
evicted
that Biden
from
doesn't
their
have the
homes.
answers either. I
And
know that's
how
what a
has
lot of
Trump
you are
responded?
saying.
Instead of maintaining the $600 a week unemployment supplement that workers were receiving and the $1,200 emergency checks that many of you received, instead of helping small businesses, Trump concocted fraudulent executive orders that do virtually nothing to address the crisis while threatening the very future of Social Security and Medicare. But the truth is that even before Trump's negligent response to this pandemic, too many hardworking families have been caught on an economic treadmill with no hope of ever getting ahead. Together, we must build a nation that is more equitable, more compassionate, and more inclusive.
Bernie's right. Like, this didn't start with Trump.
I know that Joe Biden will begin that fight on day one. Let me
See, that's where a lot of
offer
us
you just
disagree,
a
Bernie.
few examples of how Joe will move us forward. Joe supports raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour.
Allegedly.
This will give 40 million workers a pay raise and push the wage scale
I do
up
hope he would do that.
for
I actually
everyone
think
else.
Biden might do that, guys. Maybe
Joe
I'm too...
will also make it easier for workers to join unions,
Hopefully.
create 12 weeks of paid family leave,
Hopefully.
fund universal pre-K for 3- and 4-year-olds, and make child care affordable for millions of families.
Hopefully.
Joe will rebuild our crumbling infrastructure and fight the threat
Smokey
of
might be on
climate
screen
change
now for some of you
by
guys.
transitioning
Just FYI.
us to 100%
You wanted to
clean
see 'em.
electricity over the next 15 years.
Come here, Smokey.
These initiatives
Say hi to everybody.
will create millions
Hi,
of
everybody.
good-paying jobs all across our country. As you know, we are the only industrialized nation not to guarantee health care for all people. While Joe and I disagree on the best path to get universal coverage, he has a plan that will greatly expand health care and cut the cost of prescription drugs.
Notice how Bernie makes it clear,
Further,
though.
he
Biden
will
does
lower
not
the
provide universal care
eligibility
because under
age
the
of
best
Medicare
estimates of his
from
plan,
65
it
down
leaves
to 60.
10 million people
To help
uninsured.
reform
And that's
our
pre-pandemic.
broken criminal justice system, Joe will end private prisons and detention centers, cash bail, and the school-to-prison pipeline. And to heal the soul of our nation, Joe Biden will end the hate and division Trump has created. He will stop the demonization of immigrants, the coddling of white nationalists,
Smokey came to
the
see Bernie
racist
too.
dog
Yes,
whistling,
Damon, good point.
the religious bigotry, and the ugly attacks on women. My friends, I say to you, to everyone who supported other candidates in the primary, and to those who may have voted for Donald Trump in the last election, the future of our democracy is at stake. The future of our economy is at stake. The future of our planet is at stake. We must come together, defeat Donald Trump, and elect Joe Biden and Kamala
Shoe on
Harris
head,
as our
who's
next
correct here.
president
Says
and
here,
vice
Bernie doing a better job promoting Joe than
friends,
Joe does promoting
the
Joe.
price of failure
Which is probably true.
is just too great to imagine. Thank you.
This is hard to watch, though, guys, because it reminds us of what could have been. It reminds us of what could have been, guys. You know?
My American dream is to have an America where we have people in affordable housing.
Like, let's be clear, too, Joseph, you're right. Even Bernie wouldn't end racism. Ending racism, like, if it's even possible to end it, it's like it's going to be a generational thing.
equitable education.
A system of
you know,
government
Biden's
that
not going to
protects
do the
the
things
workers
needed
and
to
their
get us even
Joe Biden,
to get that
throughout
path
his career, has focused
forward.
on rebuilding the middle class.
We need a leader that actually supports our unions for our hardworking people.
Real leadership to show genuine support for small businesses during this downturn due to the COVID crisis.
I believe Joe Biden has the experience, the platform, and the empathy to build America back better.
He wants good things for all Americans, not just a select few.
The voices we long to hear right now are the ones that speak with courage and kindness, strength and wisdom, love and compassion. They're unafraid to speak the truth and talk about their own uncertainties and struggles. They make
Addie
us
Barkin,
feel seen and inspire
Addie
us
Barkin
to
made a great
become
point, saying
the best
Bernie was the
versions
first,
of ourselves.
the first
Our
speaker.
next speaker is that for all of us. It is my honor and privilege to introduce
To actually,
the former First Lady, Michelle Obama.
really fundamentally address policy. Bernie was the first speaker
Good
to
evening,
actually talk
everyone.
about policy.
It's a hard time, and everyone's feeling it in different ways. And I know a lot of folks are reluctant to tune into a political convention right now, or to politics in general. Believe me, I get that. But I am here tonight because I love this country with all my heart. And it pains me to see so many people hurting. I've met so many of you. I've heard your stories. And through you,
Yeah, Bernie's speech was very good.
I have seen this country's promise. And thanks to so many who came before me, thanks to their toil and sweat and blood, I've been able to live that promise myself. That's the story of America. All those folks who sacrificed and overcame so much in their own times because they wanted something more, something better for their kids. There's a lot of beauty in that story. There's a lot of pain in it too. A lot of struggle and injustice and work left to do. And who we choose as our president in this election will determine whether or not we honor that struggle and chip away at that injustice and keep alive the very possibility of finishing that work. I am one of a handful of people living today who have seen firsthand the immense weight and awesome power of the presidency. And let me once again tell you this: the job is hard. It requires clear-headed judgment, a mastery of complex and competing issues.
Great point, Joseph,
a
yeah.
devotion to facts and history, a moral compass.
What's
and
very
an
interesting
ability
is
to listen,
Michelle Obama could probably run for president.
an abiding belief.
She just must
that
not want to be
each
president.
Of the 330 million lives in this country has meaning and worth. A president's words have the power to move markets. They can start wars or broker peace. They can summon our better angels or awaken our worst instincts. You simply cannot fake your way through this job. As I've said before, being president doesn't change who you are. It reveals who you are.
That's a good line, though. I agree with her there.
A presidential
I agree with her.
election can reveal who
that
we
kind of
are,
position
too.
magnifies.
And 4 years ago, too many people chose to believe
intensifies
that their
your
votes
character.
didn't
I get
matter.
that. I agree with that.
Maybe they were fed up. Maybe
I
they
agree with
thought
her
the
there.
outcome wouldn't be close. Maybe the barriers felt too steep. Whatever the reason, in the end,
Which is why I'm worried
those
about
choices
a Biden
sent
presidency
someone to
too,
the Oval Office who
and why I
lost
was
the
so
national
excited for a
popular
Bernie
vote
presidency.
by nearly 3 million votes. In one of the states that determined the outcome, the winning margin averaged out to just 2 votes per precinct. 2 votes. And we've all been living with the consequences. When my husband left office with Joe Biden at his side, we had a record-breaking stretch of job
Oh yeah,
creation.
she'd be better
We'd
than Biden. I would say
secured
that.
the right to health care for 20 million people. We were respected.
Yeah, Michelle, a good
around the
speechwriter,
world,
certainly, but don't
rallying our
forget,
allies
like,
to
Biden has
confront
speechwriters
climate
too, man, and he's
And our
not this
leaders
good.
had worked hand in hand with scientists to help prevent an Ebola outbreak from becoming a global pandemic.
Nope, I agree
4
with you, lovely
years
pariah.
later,
I agree.
The
I agree.
state of this nation is
And with young
very
children,
different.
too.
More than 150,000 people have died, and our economy is in shambles because of a virus that this president downplayed for too long. It has left millions of people jobless. Too many have lost their health care. Too many are struggling to take care of basic necessities like food and rent. Too many communities have been left in the lurch to grapple with whether and how to open our schools safely. Internationally, we've turned our back, not just on agreements forged by my husband, but on alliances championed
she
by
has good delivery.
presidents like Reagan and Eisenhower.
Stop praising
And here at
Reagan.
home,
Stop it.
As
Stop
George
praising
Floyd,
Reagan.
Breonna Taylor, and a
Reagan was a
never-ending
monster.
list of innocent people of color continue to be murdered, stating the simple fact that a Black Life Matters is still met with derision from the nation's highest office. Because whenever we look to this White House for some leadership or consolation or any semblance of steadiness, what we get instead is chaos, division, and a total and utter lack of empathy.
Yeah, I do love that though. The law, like
empathy.
Like, look, there's
That's
been some
something
lies
I've been
here,
thinking a
especially
lot
like
about
that Joe
lately.
Biden's a good person or whatever. But
The ability
you know,
to
they're
walk
right.
in
The
someone
Democrats
else's
will often
shoes.
say the right thing, like
The
people are
recognition
suffering.
that someone
We can do
else's
better.
experience
They
has
need health
value
care.
too.
They need better
Most of
working
us practice
conditions.
this without a
And then
second
it's
thought.
like, and then Bernie
If we
standing
see
here in the
someone
goddamn
suffering or
corner, and
struggling,
he's like,
we don't stand
excuse
in
me,
judgment,
fellow
we reach
Americans,
out.
I have a
Because
plan
there,
for
but for
this.
the grace of God, go on.
And then they're like, no,
It is
not you,
not a hard
Bernie.
concept
Not
to
the guy that
grasp.
actually wants to do the
what we
things
teach
to fix
our
the things we're
children.
talking about. We don't
Like
want
so
you.
many of you, Barack and I have tried our best to instill in our girls a strong moral foundation.
Reading a teleprompter
to
is hard,
carry
guys.
forward the values
Honestly,
that our
whenever
parents
I
and
read
grandparents
like a
poured
teleprompter
into
or I try to
us.
read something off the screen, I look like
right
I'm reading and
now,
it's awkward.
kids
She doesn't look like
in
she's
this
reading.
country are
It's
seeing
something you
what
have to
happens
practice.
when we
You would
stop
know if I was
requiring
reading something when I do my
empathy
videos.
of one
It
another.
would be really awkward. I
They're
speak
looking around
like
wondering
off the
if
cuff
we've
into the
been
camera. I don't
lying to
read.
them this whole time about who we are and what
Reagan
we
was a
truly
bitch.
value.
Yeah, I mean, look, Ken, you're not
They see
wrong.
people shouting in grocery stores, unwilling to wear a mask.
Yeah, you
Us
could
all
probably
safe.
draw a line from Reaganism
They
to
see
Trump,
people
like
calling the police
Reaganism
on
and then
folks
Bill
minding their
Clinton
own
hollowing
business
out
just
the working
because of
class,
the color of their skin.
creating the economic
They see an
desperation,
entitlement that says only
like,
certain people
which at
belong
least
here.
in part, it's not, a
That
lot of it was
greed is
racism,
good
but
and winning is everything,
economic
because as long as
desperation that
you
led
come out
people
on
to
top,
right-wing
It
extremism.
doesn't
Yeah,
matter what happens to everyone else. And they see what happens when that lack of empathy is ginned up into outright disdain. They see our leaders labeling fellow citizens enemies of the state while emboldening torch-bearing white supremacists. They watch in horror as children are torn from their families and thrown into cages and pepper spray and rubber bullets.
some of the neoliberals,
are
like
used on
they're
peaceful
normally not funny,
protesters
but
for
one of them had a
photo
great
op.
tweet where they were like, "I hope you're enjoying
Sadly, this is the
Melania
America that
Trump's
is on
RNC
display
speech,"
for the next generation.
which is a great line because remember
A
when she
nation
plagiarized
that's
Michelle Obama's
underperforming
speech
not simply
in
on matters of
2016.
policy,
That's
on
a pretty good
matters
one. That's a
of
pretty good
character.
joke. I laughed.
And
I
that's
chuckled
not just
heartily on the
disappointing,
inside, at least.
It's downright infuriating because I know the goodness and the grace that is out there in households and neighborhoods all across this nation. And I know that regardless of our race,
Marianne Williamson
age,
had a great
religion,
tweet.
or
No, I'm
politics,
sorry, but speaking
when we
of
close out the noise and the fear
tonight's events,
and
we saw them.
truly open our
No,
hearts,
I'm sorry, they did not address
we know
racism.
that
They showed a
what's
lot of
going
beautiful
on in
pictures of
this
people of
country
color and made
is
references to Black
just
Lives Matter,
not
but there was not one mention of an actual policy to
This is
help
not who
end
we wanna
systemic
be.
racism. It's like binge watching a
So what do we
Marriott
do now?
commercial.
What's our strategy? Over the past 4 years, A lot of
I mean,
people
I'm trying to
have
think.
asked
Was
me,
there a policy
when others
mentioned,
are going
like
solo,
specifically, like an
does going high
anti-racist
still
policy?
really
Am
work?
I like? Can we
My
think of one?
answer?
Maybe I'm blanking.
Going high is the only thing that works. Because when we go low, when we use those same tactics of degrading and dehumanizing others, we just become part of the ugly noise that's drowning out everything else. We degrade ourselves. We degrade the very causes for which we fight. But let's be clear. Going high does not mean putting on a smile and saying nice things when confronted by viciousness and cruelty. Going high means taking the harder path. It means scraping and clawing our way to that mountaintop. Going high means standing fierce against hatred while remembering that we are one nation under God. And if we want to survive, we've got to find a way to live together and work together across our differences.
One thing I'm curious, guys, just let me know, are you guys getting ads on this?
With the only thing
I'm always curious to see if my streams are playing ads. Sometimes they get demonetized. So I'm curious to see.
So let me be as honest and clear
also here, for those who are new, just a reminder,
Donald
there's my
Trump
Discord
is
in the
the
chat.
wrong president for our country. He has had more than enough time to prove that he can do the job, but he is clearly in over his head. He cannot meet this moment. He simply cannot.
I still
be
can't
who
believe
we
they're not.
need
They're,
him to
Biden
be
doesn't
for
support
us.
marijuana legalization.
It is
There's
what
a
it
lot
is.
of Trump voters that support that.
Now, I
There were
understand that my
Trump
message
voting
won't be heard
districts in
by some
2016,
people.
like Trump voting
We live in a
precincts
nation that is deeply
that voted to
divided,
legalize
and
marijuana
I
on
am
like
a black woman
you know on
speaking at the
yeah.
Democratic Convention.
Yeah, there's probably not ads playing it. Yeah,
But
some people are
enough
on
of you know
premium.
me
Yeah,
by now. You know that I tell you exactly.
some people are getting
what I'm
ads. Maybe
You know
they're
I
probably
hate
playing less
politics,
ads than normal because it's
but
got.
you
I think
also
this is
know
demonetized.
that I care about this nation. You know how much I care about all of our children. So if you take one thing from my words tonight, it is this. If you think things cannot possibly get worse, trust me, they can and they will if we don't make a change in this election. If we have any hope of ending this chaos, we have got to vote for Joe Biden like our lives depend on it.
No.
I know Joe.
Fix that.
He is a profoundly decent man, guided by faith. He was a terrific vice president. He knows what it takes to rescue an economy, beat back a pandemic, and lead our country. And he listens. He will tell the truth and trust science. He will make smart
They're probably
plans
paying
and
very
manage a
few
good
ads
team.
on demonetized
And he
video.
will
They still get
govern
some,
as
but they
someone
usually play very
who's
few.
lived a life
Only
that the
so much.
rest of
Only
us
certain
can
companies will
recognize.
advertise with them.
When he was a kid, Joe's father lost his job. When he was a young senator,
I know
Joe
that Michelle
lost his
Obama's
wife
very
and his
popular
baby
still,
daughter,
but
and when he was vice president,
I don't know if she should have gotten more
lost his
time than
beloved
Bernie.
sons.
I think they should have given Bernie
So
more time,
Joe knows
or at least the same amount.
anguish of sitting
Bernie
at
didn't
a
get this much
table with
time.
an empty chair, which is why he gives his time so freely to grieving parents. Joe knows what it's like to struggle, which is why he gives his personal phone number to kids overcoming a stutter of their own. His life is a testament to getting back up. And he is going to channel that same grit and passion to pick us all up, to help us heal and guide us forward. Now, Joe is not perfect, and he'd be the first to tell you that. But there is no perfect candidate, no perfect president. And his ability to learn and grow, we find in that the kind of humility and maturity that so many of us yearn for right now. Because Joe Biden has served this nation his entire life without ever losing sight of who he is. But more than that, he has never lost sight of who we are, all of us.
Reminder, Joe Biden
all
called
of our kids to go to a good
desegregated
school, see
busing
a doctor
a
when
racial
they're
jungle.
sick, live on a healthy planet. And he's got plans to make all of that happen. Joe Biden wants all of our kids, no matter what they look like, to be able to walk out the door without worrying about being harassed or arrested or killed. He wants all of our kids to be able to go to a movie or a math class without being afraid of getting shot. He wants all our kids to grow up with leaders who
I mean, she is right that there's no perfect politician.
Wealthy peers,
but that's not
what will provide a safety
what we're
net for
demanding.
people
We're demanding a
facing
not
hard
bad
times.
politician. Bernie wasn't perfect.
And if we
Bernie was wrong
want a
on certain
chance
issues.
to
Bernie
pursue
was
any of
obviously
these goals,
not prepared to do
any of these most
to go after
basic
Biden even when he should have. He wasn't a perfect
functioning
politician or even a
society,
perfect person.
we have
But
to
we're not
vote
asking for
Joe
perfect. We're
Biden
asking
in
for
numbers
decent.
that cannot be ignored.
And we're not really getting
because
it.
right now, folks who know they cannot
No,
win
Michelle
fair and
Obama
square
really
at
hasn't
the
mentioned any
ballot box
policy.
are doing everything they can to stop us from voting. They're closing down polling places in minority neighborhoods.
Jay Tombori says,
voter rolls.
thanks for
They're
doing this, by the
sending
way. I
people
forgot this
out
was
to
happening today.
intimidate
Jay, thank you so
voters,
much
and they're
for the
lying
support. I
about
very
the
much
security
appreciate
of
it.
our
Thank you.
ballots.
No, there's no
These
policy in this
tactics
speech.
are not new.
Bernie was really
But
the only
this is
speaker to
not the
mention
time
policy.
to
Some of
withhold
the
our
regular
votes in
Americans they talk
protests
to,
or play games
like
with
post office
candidates who
stuff,
have no
daycare,
chance of
they
winning.
mentioned policy.
We
Bernie
have got to
mentioned
vote
policy.
like we did in 2008
He talked about, and whether you believe him or not,
We've
Bernie
got to
actually
show up with
did
the same
talk
level
about,
of
here's what
passion and
Joe has
hope
said he's going to
for
do.
Joe Biden.
And here's how it's going to help regular people.
We've got to vote early, in person if we can. We've got to request our mail-in ballots right now, tonight, and send them back immediately. And follow up to make sure they're received. And then make sure our friends and families do the same. We have got to grab our comfortable shoes, put on our masks.
I mean, she's right here,
pack
though.
a brown bag dinner and maybe breakfast too. Because we've got to be willing to stand
She's
in
right,
line
though.
all
Like,
night
honestly,
if we
guys,
have
if you're
to.
in the States and you're voting by mail, get it done
Look,
early.
we have already
Get it done early and
sacrificed so
keep
much
on
this
it.
year.
Because I do think Trump
So
is
many
trying to
of
rig the
you
election
are
via
already going that
postal
extra
fuckery.
mile.
I really do. It's
Even
not. I'm not.
when you're
I don't think it's an
exhausted,
exaggeration.
You're mustering
Vote
up
early
unimaginable
and make
courage
sure you get your
to
vote
put on
in. Make
those
sure it
scrubs
counts.
and give our loved
Do
ones
whatever
a
you
fighting
can.
chance. Even when you're anxious, you're delivering those packages, stocking those shelves, and doing all that essential work so that all of us can keep moving forward. Even when it all feels so overwhelming, working parents are somehow piecing it all together without childcare. Teachers are getting creative so that our kids can still learn and grow. Our young people are desperately fighting to pursue their dreams. And when the horrors of systemic racism shook our country and our consciences, millions of Americans of every age, every background rose up to march for each other, crying out for justice and progress. This is who we still are. Compassionate, resilient, decent people whose fortunes are bound up with one another. And it is well past time for our leaders to once again reflect our truth. So, it is up to us.
The Lincoln Project says, hey guys, the
and our
DNC
votes
convention's actually really
to the
good.
course
And so that's
of
how you know
history.
it sucks, guys, if the Lincoln
Echoing
Project likes
heroes
it.
like John Lewis, who said, when you see something that is not right, you must say something. You must do something. That is the truest form of empathy. Not just feeling, but doing. Not just for ourselves or our kids, but for everyone.
Yeah, I think she's going long.
For all
I don't
our
think this is
kids.
recorded, or either
And
the
if we wanna
schedule is
keep
behind.
the
I think she's
possibility
going
of
long
progress alive
because
in
they're
our
supposed to go 9 to 11.
If we want to be able
So
to
I
look
think
our
she's going a little
children in
long.
the eye after this election, we have got to reassert our place.
Yeah, see,
in
look,
American history.
look.
And
I
we
have
got to
nothing
do
personal
everything
against
we
Michelle
can
Obama.
to elect
There's
my
there's
friend
other people
Joe
that are
Biden
worst on the schedule,
as the next
but she
president
didn't
of the
need
United
this
States.
much time. They could have given
Thank you
her
all.
AOC a couple more
God
minutes.
bless.
Right? Like,
Wow,
God, this is awkward.
Thank
These
you,
like
Michelle
applauding
Obama.
things.
You are what we miss in this country. We need more of that example. Thank you so much for being part of this unconventional convention. Thanks to all of y'all who have been tuning in. It's a convention about you and for you, the American people. This is our chance to hear from those who will be leading. Leading us out of our nation.
She's Wednesday or Thursday night
on the economy, the pandemic, racial injustice, to listen and to learn about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's plans to bring about changes we all need. This is our chance to unite across America. In addition, we'll call the roll and we'll hear from the future First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden. I want to thank you again for joining us. Join us the rest of the week. This is your convention. This is your campaign. And we, the people, are going to save this democracy.
I'm going to bring up the
November.
schedule here.
Right now, Billy Porter and Stephen Stills are going to remind us what it's all worth. Good night.
So let's go over the schedule a little bit, because given that we didn't get dinged tonight, I'll probably do this at least for the next night. We didn't get copyright struck, which is good. So looking at the schedule, tomorrow, Tuesday night, right? And let me know, did you guys like this? Would you guys want me to do this for all the other days as well? Let me know what you want to think.
Everybody look what's going down. There's battle lines being drawn.
So here's the schedule. Tomorrow night, the primetime show, you're seeing, and I'm not sure about the exact schedule yet. You're going to see Sally Yates, Chuck Schumer, John Kerry. God damn, this is going to suck. AOC is tomorrow night. Then Bill Clinton. Why is Bill here? Why is Epstein associate Bill Clinton here? And then Jill Biden. Then Wednesday night, you have Pelosi, Clinton, God, Warren, Lujan Grisham, Tony Evers, and Gabby Giffords. Then people saying I made it bearable. Okay, yeah, we'll be doing this tomorrow night then too. Okay, and Thursday. Day 4, you have obviously Biden speaking on day 4, Cory Booker, Gavin Newsom, Buttigieg, Keisha Lance Bottoms, the Atlanta mayor, Tammy Baldwin, Tammy Duckworth, Chris Coons, the Biden family. Kamala Harris, I think, yeah. So that's the schedule for the rest of the week. The minute-to-minute, I think I can look up later. We don't need that right now. But that's the minute-to-minute. So what did you guys think? What did you guys think? Okay. Let me give a few compliments. I'll give a few compliments. I think that the inclusion of regular people was good. They needed to do more of it, but it was good. That's one of the few times that we actually talked about issues that matter.
However, we
like schools and hospitals and transit and postal workers and stuff.
Carry on the fight for justice.
You know, that was good. Also good was Bernie's speech. I know a lot of us aren't going to agree with the specific direction of it. Like maybe people don't want to see Bernie tell you to vote for Joe Biden. I know a lot of people don't like that, but it was a well-delivered speech full of actual reasons. Like, if you are going to vote for Joe, the only one, or if you were on the fence, the only one that I think would convince anyone tonight was Bernie.
Only pre-existing condition
right? Bernie was the only one who was like, look, he said he supports these policies.
With his life.
Those were the good things tonight. So much was bad with the policies, the schmaltzy over-Americanism. I know that maybe that's not for me. Like, that's not for people on, like, the left who are skeptical of patriot symbolism. But, like, I don't know, guys.
And we have got to do everything.
It wasn't that great.
To elect
AOC wasn't cut from the program. So, again, just as a quick rundown, AOC speaks tomorrow night. Again, it's only for 60 seconds, at least as of right now. I mean, maybe they'll change their mind. But
to our nation, the democratic ideal by which our destiny may be fashioned. We are thankful to you for having blessed these United States of America to survive the climate of confusion and chaos, racism and injustice, uncertainty, helplessness, and irresponsibility. We now, O Lord, invoke your presence and participation throughout the life of this
convention. Did you guys hear that random drum beat?
It is our prayer that you will enable this convention to produce a vision that will promote healing, hope, and health for our nation. A vision that will inspire, inform, and be inclusive of all Americans.
Yeah, we sometimes get Epoch ads on my demonetized videos because they'll advertise on anything. And so I think by design they're willing to advertise on controversial content. So you see them sometimes.
And are endowed by the Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We would pray that you would grant to those to whom we will entrust with the authority of government.
Yeah, Biden wasn't in this a lot tonight.
Compassionate, courageous, committed, and consecrated.
Like,
and guide us, the people.
Yeah, Biden wasn't mentioned too much tonight. I get it. Like, he's going to give his speech on Thursday, but they didn't showcase him a whole lot. They had a few clips of him early on and in the middle, but not very much towards the end.
Grant us a sense of our own responsibility. Achieve unity of purpose among us, and grant unto us the victory of faith and freedom in the ideas to which we are committed as a nation. Strengthen us with honor and grant us peace. Provide us,
Smokey playing a drum. I would no, he's not actually. That would make some more sense than just a random drum beat.
To love mercy and to walk humbly with our God. In the strong name of Jesus. Amen.
Delegates and distinguished guests, we've concluded this evening's convention program. The convention will stand in recess until tomorrow evening.
That gavel is massive, guys. All right. So that was convention night 1, guys. That was convention night 1. I'm not going to stick around for too long past this. Just going to close up a little bit. 1 second. I'm going to maximize my screen again. All right. And let me... So, that was very interesting. that was, yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know who that wins over. I mean, maybe Bernie, because again, Bernie's speech was pretty good. Maybe Bernie's speech wins over a few people that are like, I'm not sure, like, I'm a Bernie guy or a Bernie gal. I voted for Bernie. I'm not necessarily a Bernie or Buster, but I'm not sold on Biden either. So, like, I need to be convinced. Bernie's speech might have done that. But beyond that, guys, I really don't know. I really don't know. I'm not sure. Somebody said keep the jazz. You know, Fizzinator, I was actually thinking about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to wrap now because, again, I'm going to be doing these, sort of decided, this went pretty well. I'm going to do these every night for the convention, and we'll be talking about them. So Tomorrow night, we'll be starting just before 9 o'clock every night. Maybe Wednesday we'll still start at 8, which is my regular Wednesday night stream time. We'll sort of lead into the convention and then start. But I certainly want to do this. I want to thank you all for coming. If you are new, please consider subscribing. It's great to have new people aboard. I make political videos from a left perspective every day. I've dropped my Discord a couple times, but if you want to follow me on Twitter, and you have not yet, consider following me on Twitter, right here. And if you want to support the channel, people support the channel in a lot of ways, so people were generous with the super chats, but if you want to support the channel, you can become a channel member. It gets you one of these nice little badges and highlights your name for me to see in the chat and also in my comments for videos. You can also support me on Patreon, and there's also a link to a PayPal in the description if you want to support the channel on a one-off basis. So guys, thank you so much for tonight. Not a great convention, I gotta be honest. Could have been worse, crazily enough. Bernie gave a good speech, but I don't know how many people this convinces. If the goal is to convince people, I don't think this did the job. I'll see you later. See you tomorrow night, just before 9 Eastern, and we'll do this again.